Hey everyone, this is a VOD of our Friday Night Fights community event that was live last Friday. It's cast by myself and Maestro Cortella. We had some really fun matches. We're going to do these weekly, so enjoy the games and try to stop by the live stream this Friday. We'll keep these happening. Thanks for watching. They're ready to play. Let's do the match. Alright, here we go. Friday Night Fights, match 1. Game number 1, Lomors as our Eldar Warlock, RedBeard rocking the Plague Champion. What do you got on this one, Cortella?
You know, it's RedBeard. I normally think of him as orcs, and I've played against this Plague Champion in the past, so I do have confidence in this Plague Champion, but I would have more confidence in him playing orcs. Lomors for me is a lot more of a question mark. I definitely don't know him as well. I don't know if I've ever actually played Lomors. I think he was kind of middling in terms of his Elite League placement. We do also have Piano saying in the chat that he thinks that RedBeard probably going to take it, but he's saying that both these players are kind of rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I think RedBeard mostly plays team games right now, right? So his 1v1 game might be a little lacking. We're going to see how it goes. Plague Champ, I feel like, is a pretty good matchup versus Eldar, though. I feel like his early game, I mean, just the Plague Champ himself is going to be really good at bleeding models, of course.
Yeah, typically Plague Champion, definitely a more shooty ranged opening for Chaos. Since you have that starting ranged bolter, it's going to be something that he's probably going to keep for a while unless he finds like a really good generator passion opportunity, but I don't think we'll see that. And although, of course, a big concern of the Plague Champion, one that I think has been a concern for like literally a decade, is that the Plague Champion's kind of lack of mobility sometimes makes things difficult for him in 1v1 period, regardless of who he's actually playing against.
Sure. Alright, so we've got pretty standard build both sides, 2 Heretics, 2 Dire Avengers, and Banshees. And it looks like the Warlock is going to find himself some Chaos Space Marines and the Plague Champ on the far side, but I think if they kite well, they should be able to force him out of here.
At the moment, they're not kiting too much.
No, they're just taking a lot of hits. The Warlock knocked them over. The Heretics going to find themselves between 2 Dire Avenger squads. They might be able to force off one of these, but it seems like unlikely. Heretics now coming in from the opposing side, took a Destructor, but are going to be able to force off the Warlock, and I'd be willing to bet these Banshees. Waiting for the second Doom Blast. There they go. Easy enough route. Oh my gosh, and the Heretics might actually hold their side of the map. It looks like RedBeard might take both of the opening engagements here, allowing him full control over the map.
Man, those Heretics had so few hit points, but, you know, as long as they can make it in melee, that's going to be a clearly winning matchup for them as long as they can actually do that.
Yeah, the Dire Avengers can't really do much in melee at all, and even with just a few models on those Heretics. And it's almost a thing you can't even risk, right? Because you could potentially be going into that last couple models, and then an Aspiring Champion pops up, and you lose your squad.
Yeah, and we don't see any grenades up yet either. Of course, it's just very early on. That's also one of the things that it kind of turns into a game of chicken where, you know, if the Heretics are going to approach, you potentially have to worry about, like, Dire Avengers throwing a grenade that could possibly wipe the entire squad if it's placed correctly, but it wasn't a factor in that engagement, but I think it is something that RedBeard's going to have to keep in mind for basically the rest of the game.
Right. Alright, so this time the Banshees come out. Plague Champion doesn't really have much of a foot to stand on here. Not enough Heretics to blow him up and keep all the Eldar at bay at this point.
And we see kind of different priorities in terms of basically their quote-unquote teching or builds at this point, where RedBeard didn't buy any upgrades and he wants that extra unit, whereas Lomors, of course, is actually prioritizing the upgrades, so we don't see another unit out of him just yet.
Yeah, no tier 1.5 units, but all 3 of his squads have gotten their aspect upgrades. The Chaos Raptors are going to change the dynamic here a lot, though. Without anything else on the field, unless Lomor drops a perfect grenade or something along those lines to really swing the tide of battle, this is going to be a hard engagement for him to hold. That said, he does have his full gen farm up as opposed to the 1 generator of RedBeard. And RedBeard finally going to the middle. Someone's finally going to capture that central VP.
Oh no, these Dire Avengers are actually in a lot of trouble. I don't think they lose the whole squad here, but it was pretty close. It was really close, actually.
Oh no, they do go down. You gave him the Caster's Curse.
Oh man, I thought they would just barely get out of there, but indeed.
Yeah,
It was like a kind of a good interception by RedBeard with just where he was putting his units in response to that retreat path.
Yeah, let's see where this goes. With the Guardians falling though, if Lomors doesn't get another squad out. Wait, where has he been spending his requisition at this point?
Your units fulfill your
He's got like nothing in the bank still. Oh, he went hard on the Warlock. Merciless Witchblade and Champions Robe.
Oh no.
I mean, the Warlock's going to be a force to be reckoned with right now, but he's not going to be enough to take out the entire Chaos Force on his own, and that's kind of the task he's been given right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like the upgrades in the sense that 1-to-1 right now, the Warlock literally beats any other unit on the side, but again, that's 1-to-1. And I think it wouldn't be as problematic if he hadn't lost that dire Avenger squad, but since he did, I think it's kind of worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, the Shuriken coming out should give him a little more control, but the Raptors are already on the field. He's going to have to kind of keep track of the Raptors, I feel like, and make sure the Shuriken is just wherever the Raptors are not. Unless he can set up maybe a trap, force an early jump before he reveals the Shuriken team. There are a few plays he has with that Shuriken cannon, but the things are starting to look dire as the Chaos Space Marines are moving in on the Gen Farm. He's going to be forced to show the Shuriken. The Chaos Raptors will be forced off, but there's still plenty of range for the Plague Champion. He's even upgrading to the Bile Spewer. I'm not sure if that's the right choice.
He is going to go for it. Yeah, I mean, that was the kind of thing that I said before. Now, of course, the Plague Champion, he's actually going to back off. I was going to say, I thought he might move forward and look for a generator because one of the traits of the Plague Champion is that he can actually shoot normally even while suppressed. So I thought he might just, like, tank some of the Guardian weapon team fire and see if he can get a gen or two while standing, like, in the yellow cover.
Yeah, now the Banshees were going for a sneaky gen bash of their own. Unfortunately, they found themselves a couple squads of Heretics. Doomblast going off, but the Warlock's charging over here to engage. The Warlock special goes off. He can easily destroy these squads. Yeah, you can see the Heretics don't even want to engage him with that Merciless Witchblade. The ones without the Aspiring Champion might even get wiped from a special attack if they're surrounding the Warlock.
This is a little piece of information, but I think with the melee skill, the way it works with the Heretics, I don't think they're going to get knocked back by the Warlock. But I think even if they don't, I think just over time, they're just going to bleed a lot of models while not being particularly effective against them. So I don't think it's something that I don't think it's a fight that they want.
Right. So the Shuriken Weapons team gets forced off. Plague Champion here healing up, burning down, doing all the annoying things that Plague Champion does. Lomors is sitting on enough resource to head into Tier 2. He does hit the button, but without the gens, he's going to be much less equipped to bring something big in here. Oh, the chain knockback's coming in from the Plague Champion. He might want to... Yeah, he just hits the retreat button. He doesn't want to risk it at this point. One more knockback might have spelled the end for the Plague Champ, and that kind of would have negated the damage he did to that gen farm.
The funny thing there is that I actually saw the energy on the Plague Champion go down, which I think indicates that he tried to use Bilious Discharge, but I think it got interrupted by the special attacks, and I was kind of waiting for that to happen. I think it was just a little bit too late, kind of waited when the Howling Banshees were already into melee.
Alright, so VP's actually looking pretty rough for RedBeard right now. Lomors has managed to hold on just long enough. He stalled on the gen farm, I think, pretty well, managed to keep the Plague Champ sitting there while the Warlock and Banshees did their work on the far side of the map, so he's actually looking pretty good on the map right now. And heading into Tier 2 ahead of RedBeard. It's plenty more impressive.
Just how well he's doing, like, at least so far in terms of, like, fights and stuff. It's been feeling like RedBeard's been having more of the edge. I didn't even just realize until now that the map control not exactly in his favor. And he's getting to Tier 2 later, even though he's the one who had the generator bash. Oh yeah, you know what? Our chat points out, Lomors put his generators down much faster because he wasn't going for the Tier 1.5 squad. Whereas RedBeard, he wanted the Raptors, and usually if you're going for a Raptors, usually you're only going to put down a node, maybe a single generator. Usually I think in terms of like Space Marines, where if you want ASM, usually you just put down the node and then go for the ASM before you get the generators.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, Eldar often has their gens go down a little earlier. because they want those squad upgrades. Yeah, like even if they're not looking for extra squads, they want those upgrades on their squads. They want to have all those abilities available. So we're seeing the power difference now, and even the resources. Lomors sitting at almost 800 requisition. We got a Wraith Lord coming out here for the moment. RedBeard's not far behind though as far as power, so he can bring a Dreadnought if he wants as well. Or pretty much any tier 2 purchase at this point. So we're gonna have the Wraith Lord versus something from Chaos is the current lineup.
It's interesting. Like, we see RedBeard currently holding a lot of resources, and I wonder what he's getting. I'm pretty sure he's already exceeded the resources for a Dreadnought. And
I mean, he might just be focused on his micro here. Oh, nice bile slowing the Banshees down.
Looks like he's gone for an upgrade. Although, of course, as these days, it sounds like the Dreadnought for Chaos is not particularly meta. We've got Pianos in chat who is in particular extremely critical of the Chaos Dreadnought.
Yeah, so the Raptors are out. They've got their aspiring champion. Warlock managed to take out a Heretic squad on the far side of the map. He does have a Webway gate way over there as well, and now the Chaos Space Marines are pretty much just going to have to fall back. Warlock now getting his Heart of Darkness as well.
Really just going for that full-on tankiness. And meanwhile, you saw a Heretic squad go down, and I think it was in part due to that Warlock.
Oh! The Plague Champion gets assassinated by the Banshees. He was being a little too brazen right there. Raptors do jump away. But between the Heretic loss and the Plague Champ going down, he's suddenly looking a little worse for the wear.
And in the end, it's going to be Bloodletters. Bloodletters for RedBeard. He waited quite a while on that, so much so to the extent that by the time the Bloodletters are out, he won't be too far off from either going to tier 3 or getting like another tier 2 unit out.
Yeah, I think maybe he was just indecisive. I don't know if he was focusing on his micro trying to get that gen farm too much, or whether he just wasn't sure what he wanted to buy.
Of course, he also has to make the decision of does he want to buy back the Plague Champion? Kind of what the priorities are for him there.
Touch and Earl going down, guaranteeing a melee victory versus the Banshees over here. About the only way those Heretics can win that fight.
Yeah, Banshee's trying to disengage into the range of the Guardian weapon team, and then, yeah, the Heretics just kind of letting that expire, because they know they can't do anything more.
It is yours now.
Oh, big whip on the special attack there from Wraith Lord. The Bloodletter's just assigning to disengage. RedBeard buying time, getting some decaps on the map. Chaos Dreadnought coming out here as well.
So it is going to be a Chaos Dreadnought. Can't wait for whatever colorful things that Piano will have to say in chat about that, especially if it ends up not working well for RedBeard.
I think he's actually in a pretty good position with the Dreadnought, honestly, though. The Dreadnought's going to come out. The only real threat is the Wraith Lord, but I think the Dreadnought can beat that if he gets into range. And then if the Bright Lance sets up anywhere... Oh, no, this grenade! Oh, beautiful.
A nice grenade. Takes down one model. I don't think there'll be... I think the Wraith Lord might be looking to see if he can get anything else in the street. No, he's not going to be able to get into range.
Yeah, but he has both Bloodletters and Raptors, so I can't imagine that a Bright Lance is going to do much in this situation. Plague Champion's still down. Maybe he'll be up by the time the next engagement happens. But Lomors is still so far ahead in the economy game. He can bleed so many models. And
he's getting another Wraith Lord.
Oh my gosh, a second Wraith Lord?
A second Wraith Lord. Oh man, these Bloodletters not doing that well against the Warlocks.
I mean, he's in full-on beefcake mode now. He can't be taken down. This is the classic, used to be the Jedi Warlock, they said.
Yeah, and there were some things that happened where the Heart of Darkness war gear was kind of changed, but then I think it was kind of reverted.
Oh man, these Heretics getting a little too brazen.
Oh no!
Oh, is he gonna get it?
I think it
on the
mostly
intercept
depends.
course.
Grenade, force melee. Oh no, he's actually gonna get out of there.
Oh my gosh, that's a
I'm not
very
cursing it this time.
Champion right
get
there.
Out of there alive.
Okay, so the Dreadnought's out. No marks on it yet. As soon as he spots the second Wraith Lord, I'm going to be expecting to see a Mark of Siege should get upgraded.
If he can get it out far enough to the point where he might actually be able to upgrade it, but this is definitely like a fight that Redbeard is mostly just going to have to retreat from. Yeah, I want to see the Raptors jump out and then the retreat. Okay, I think this will be a good enough disengage.
Yeah, he should be fine.
Raptors.
There's nothing to slow down the Dreadnought.
Yeah, and I mean, technically, Lomors could have pushed forward more, but of course, you know, just from his perspective, he doesn't really know what he would be walking into if he did decide to push forward. Like, if there, like, he wouldn't know if there'd be like a las cannon Havoc waiting for his Wraith Lords.
So he's got
Alright,
one
so
Bright
Siege.
Lance, one Shuriken on those Wraith Lords.
And Mark of Siege for the Dreadnought, which is certainly going to do a lot of anti-vehicle damage at range, but it can't allow pretty much either one of those Wraith Lords to get into melee.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful about his line of sight here. The Banshees are hiding around the corner. Oh, we've got the Bloodletters teleporting in.
Oh man, they're teleporting into a lot though. They're probably going to even have to phase out of the warp soon. Nope,
No,
they're going to keep going after
right.
the Banshees. Banshees are pretty low, and the Warlock is going to ignore the Bloodletters and straight up go for the Chaos
Oh
Space
no,
Marine.
oh no!
Retreats entirely. Oh no.
Luckily, Bloodletters are not very good at... Oh, wait.
He's going to see if he can finish off that squadron retreat. He might get it.
Oh,
Indeed he
wow,
does.
the Banshees go down. Meanwhile, on the other side, the grenades still... These Dire Avengers have killed so many Raptors with grenades.
These Raptors, oh my god. I don't know if they see... Alright, they do definitely see the Wraith Lords coming, so they gotta go.
And Redbeard might be swinging this back around.
Frenzy Barrage. That was a little strange.
I don't know what the cooldown on it. It might be worth just tossing it out there to see what it hits. Maybe get a little damage down. There's only one Dire Avenger squad on the field right now, so like getting any damage on those Wraith Lords is not a bad thing. It'll at least slow down the Dire Avengers and force them to stop and repair, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, he can certainly do anti-vehicle damage just with the basic attack of the Dreadnought. Whereas that Frenzied Barrage, I generally think of it as a little bit more anti-infantry because you also get the suppression from it. And the spread means it's a little bit unreliable if you're trying to hit just like single targets.
BestNoob follow. Oh my gosh, was he not following? What a fiend! I'm glad he is now. Alright, here we go. Wraith Lords are coming in on this Dreadnought. Heretic's looking to get a cap in.
Oh
but
no,
he-
this is
yeah,
not
this
good.
is this is what you mentioned. You don't really want this set up.
Okay, but now we have an autocannon Havoc, not a las cannon.
Yeah, so... Oh no, the Altark drop comes in.
Wow, that might even... If the Altar can jump, he's going to see if he can wipe the Havoc.
He does get it.
Man, that Havoc didn't get to do much. And the Dreadnought's in trouble. And the Dreadnought, like, if the Dreadnought goes down, like, it would be so bad because the thing about the Dreadnought is that it's very much like an all eggs in one basket kind of unit, and it's gone. Because now, Redbeard literally has no AV whatsoever. In fact, this might even be game just right here.
Oh no, the Aspiring Champion goes down. The Wraith Lords are just sitting in the base. Yeah, losing the las cannon was kind of the brutal spot there. Oh
Yeah, I mean-
no! Oh my gosh! It's
Yeah,
just a
Lomors
slaughter.
realizes that he doesn't even have to leave.
Yeah, Redbeard drops the GG. Oh my gosh. The Altark drop sealed the deal right there.
Piano's, of course, letting his opinions be known in chat, but
That's
you know
fine.
what? It was kind of the Autark there that ended up... That was the game-winning play, pretty much.
It was, yeah. Those grenade drops are so powerful against setup teams. It's sometimes very difficult to get out from under that. You have to react almost instantly, and then as we saw, even if one model survives, the Altar can kind of just jump in and get the heck out of there.
Yeah, and, I mean, I think the Havoc was actually positioned a little too far forward. Like, the Wraith Lord wasn't even that far away from tying up the Havoc itself, and it probably would have been the Havoc forced off. But the Autark not only forced the Havoc off, it resulted in the Havoc being wiped entirely. Whereas the Havoc hadn't been wiped entirely, it could try to set up in base, and then with the kind of the health regeneration from base, then he would at least be able to defend a little bit better against the Wraith Lords that are pushing into his base, where pretty much once the Havoc was gone, he was just at the mercy of the Wraith Lords.
Right. Sewell. Ooh, I like it. All right, here we go. Friday Night Fights match 1. Game number 2. Lomors is up 1-0. This might just be a best of 3, so let's see if Lomors can lock it out or whether RedBeard is going to bring it back around.
Yeah, there were some things where RedBeard was looking strong at the start of the game, but Lomors kind of holding strong. Did kind of have the little bit of a tech advantage there since he did have those early generators. And this is also a map where it's not too far of a run to bash the power, and Space Marines have a little bit of an easier time doing that with a Flamer upgrade.
Alright, Civil Frontier. Banshees and Tactical Marines coming onto the field. On the right side, we've got RedBeard. He's blue, and he's the blue player. I love it when that happens when I'm the caster. It makes it way less confusing. And then Lomors as the red Eldar Warp Spider Exarch, heading right into the center of the map as we would expect. He's going to find himself some scouts, too. Just what the Warp Spider loves to see. Some scouts to shred while he caps the center victory point. Or, sorry, power node.
One scout model already down. I even wonder if that scout model was even in cover, but we see here this is definitely something the Warp Spider Exarch just does in 1v1 games. He can be a little bit more aggressive. He can just lead out models from squishy infantry squads, and he'll just teleport away from the scouts and now focus on some map control. Even puts a node on that power node, or activates the node so that it can't be taken away from him.
Yeah, he nodes up the power. The scouts are here, but this time the Tech Marine's there to support. The Warp Spider can probably just teleport away from this in a moment. Yeah, he's just going to disengage, keep pressure elsewhere on the map. Tactical Marines in the center of the map. And this is kind of what you expect early game with Tech Marine. The Tech Marine's not going to stray too far from the attacks. He kind of wants to walk around and bully with them a little bit with their range damage, especially against the early Eldar squads before the Exarchs come online. They can really bleed models before the engagement even starts half the time.
And they're going to focus on this power node, deciding that that is important.
Yeah, I mean, as Space Marine, you definitely want to prioritize your power in Tier 1. Requisition's important too, of course, but if you can kind of keep that bleed to a minimum, you're not spending much rec, and you just want to get that power down fast, get your upgrades, head to Tier 2. And an easy route there for the Dire Avengers. The Banshees look like they're trying to either move into a flanking position or just go ahead and try to decap that requisition. Bottom of the map's looking very nice right now for RedBeard. And Scout's just getting some eyes on the power, wants to see how many gens are down, finds that there's just one for the moment. And the Warp Spider comes in here looking for another kill, not going to get a quick retreat.
So Howling Banshees, yeah, they're just looking for that decap. And RedBeard had held the shotgun blast on his scouts before. And then he uses it, okay, finally just use it against the Banshees, so we wanted to hold it just in case he would need to deal with the Banshees at some point.
Two Banshees for a decap on a wreck point. I'm not sure that quite evens out. It might be just barely even, but I think that favors the Space Marine there, plus the Banshees are retreating and healing up for the next engagement.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do the math on that one. You kind of have to calculate, requisition income over time. Although it does reset the kind of the maturity of it. I believe that requisition point was at +20 before it was decapped, so now it's going to start back up again at +10.
Yeah, I think the real cost in this situation is the lack of field presence right now for Lomors. He seems to be playing with these kind of smaller Tier 1 forces. You can see his gen farms completely up again already before our Space Marine opponent. But, an uncommon sight right now, a triple cap as Tech Marine against a Warp Spider.
Yeah, and we also see RedBeard this time. He's put down his generators a little bit faster. Of course, he hasn't gone for that Tier 1.5 unit. And, in fact, he did go for 2 upgrades. Also has that Mastercrafted Bolter.
Yeah, I mean, the Mastercrafted Bolter is practically an auto-buy against Eldar. It drops models so quick. It gives you some options to deal with the Banshees or, even Dire Avengers that are maybe sprinting forward to drop a grenade. You can just snipe that high-powered shot down, slow them down, drop a model, and light up any approaching squads pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big believer in that weapon upgrade, and I think against Eldar, certainly early on in the game, I think it's a pretty good choice, and I can't think of anything else that I would rather get other than, you know, maybe you get in tier 2 and you're struggling to deal with vehicles and you want the Melta or something.
Alright, so Banshee's trying to bait out the scouts a little bit. Shuriken keeping the tacticals under lock of suppression there.
Scout's gonna stay in cover. I feel like they might want to get a little bit more closer to put more damage on the Banshees, but I guess they just want to stay safe behind the green cover, not even venture into the yellow.
Ooh, and we have some close scouts. Look at this. Scouts upgraded with a grenade and their stealth. They're now getting too low to actually launch their grenade if they wanted to do so. Does he have an idea that these scouts are here? I thought he was going into that garrison. I would have been surprised if he hopped in the garrison. The most annoying thing about scouts is that they shout when they go into stealth, so everyone gets to hear it.
See, but do not be seen.
It's like, yo, be quiet. I'm trying. We're supposed to. You're ruining it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's such, especially with that particular voice line.
Yeah, there's a few things about Space Marines audio that it's a little too obvious sometimes. You get to hear when Space Marine drops power nodes. You get to hear when their stealth goes down.
Tech Marine used the high-powered shot on the Banshees.
Oh my gosh. You should have just walked in the melee, probably.
Tech Marine used the high-powered shot on the Banshees, but then there was nothing else to like kind of slow them down any further, since the Tech Marine was also suppressed. So eventually they got in. They won't get the wipe, but it looks like the Banshees might look and see what they can do to some generators. I thought the shotgun scouts might have gone to help him, and I feel like they kind of needed to. Instead, they both scout squads seemed to commit to dealing with the Guardian weapon team.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to drop a grenade, and then he tried to drop the shotguns, and he didn't quite have the position or the energy to do it. It just took him a little too long to deal with that shuriken cannon.
Grenade attempt is going to be a little too late, I think.
And almost tagged one of his own tactical marines. I guess the grenade might have been on cooldown? I don't think he threw one already. I'm not sure. I think he was looking a little too hard for it, but now he's not going to have it for his next engagement. Are they going to get out of the arc of fire? Oh, it looks like they scared it off anyways. I think it could have gotten set up there.
I actually thought they were not going to be in time, but I think Lomors just kind of got a little scared and backed them off.
Yeah, the
put them into the garrison. So, meanwhile, those victory points, Lomors yet to get a single one. Though there is something certainly that Lomors does have in its advantage, which is he's in tier 2. He's going to get a vehicle pretty soon, and Redbeard hasn't even started it.
He hasn't, but I mean, look at his power income right now. He's got almost 2 full gen farms. He's got most of the map. Until this Falcon comes out, he has control of the field. So he's hitting tier 2. There's going to be a period of time where the Falcon can come in and hurt this stuff, and especially if he gets the retreat on the Banshees right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of like a misbalance in Redbeard's economy. I mean, it's like he had a few too many generators where he had the plus 84 power income and 150 power stored up, but then he literally didn't have the requisition to actually start tier 2, and then he had to wait for it a bit.
Rearming.
So, if Lomors isn't being too aggressive here with this, I mean, eventually Redbeard is going to get to tier 2. Redbeard is actually the one who's bashing the generators. But the attacks need to go now.
Yeah, the attacks need to get the heck out of there. The Falcon is up here. I guess they're looking to steal this power. That's what I would do. Take advantage of the Falcon while you have it. Let's see if he goes for the capper. He wants to just pop these gems out of the game.
I mean, now at this point, if Redbeard just wants to immediately put some threat on the Falcon without, getting another unit, he can do that fairly easily just with unit upgrades. He can do that on three of his units. He can do it on the Tech Marine, attack, as well as the ASM. Doesn't need to put it on all of them, of course. I think particularly the Tech Marine might not want to commit to the Melta-Gun.
Yeah, it's a tricky call right now. The Falcon, for me, is always such a nightmare to deal with. It's so difficult to lock down. Grenade dodged up top. He did get the Melta bombs on the Assault Space Marines. Let's see what he goes for on the Tactical Marines, still sitting with their Flamethrower. So going from all the power to almost no power. The Falcon's going to get all of the gems. The other two in the center of the map were stolen, and the Falcon is just doing whatever it wants. Dreadnought's coming onto the field.
I'm honestly kind of questioning this a bit. He is kind of letting the Falcon do what it wants at this time, since he really wanted to save those resources for getting that Dread rather than choosing to get an upgrade that could put some persistent threat on the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be alright, though. He's so far ahead on victory points that I think if he can get this Dread to come out and do some damage and hold the map for a little bit longer, the game might just be his. I do question his use of the Melt-A-Bomb right here. I guess he just wanted to scare the Falcon away, but now he doesn't have it to use in conjunction with the Dreadnought.
Oh, he's going to get a multi-melted Dreadnought.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
It's funny. I actually forget that the multi-melted Dreadnought exists so many times.
Oh, it's so good against Eldar.
I think we talked about it last time.
Yeah,
we saw it last week, and I had to look it up to find out that it does 190 damage per shot.
Yeah, so it just blasts Eldar models right out of the game. And the Falcon is actually going to have to be very careful here. Hopefully he's not looking at the Banshees. Okay, he spots the Dreadnought. He has to get out of there. But there's nothing on the field in return for the Eldar that can do anything about this. Jump. Ooh, the tax!
Oh no, where are the tax? Oh no! Alright, they just barely... Oh, Warp Spider Exarch? No, he just used teleport, so he can't teleport again after them. Like, if he had another teleport...
So very fortunate there. Redbeard managing to just barely stay on top of his micro here. And now returning the favor with that Gen Bash. Multi-Melta Dreadnought. Gonna pick away at the generators. Probably get at least two of them, if not all three. We still don't see a Bright Lance upgrading on that Guardian Weapons team. It would probably be a waste anyways. I think he maybe just wants to stay with suppression until he gets maybe another squad on the field. Although he does have the Warp Spiders coming out. So now with the Warp Spiders, that might be
and they're upgrading to the
aspect.
They're upgrading to the aspect of the Haywire. For the moment, maybe he'll just be content to try to threaten the Dreadnought with the Falcon and the Warp Spider squad. A little bit questionable, though, just given how much damage the multi-melted Dreadnought will do to the Falcon. But, of course, once the Dreadnought has been haywired, it won't be able to do any damage at all.
Yeah, the Warp Spiders are revealed. The Falcon's moving up. Still no Bright Lance on the Guardian Weapons team. It looks like he was setting it up to look at the Dreadnought, though, instead of positioning it to cover the Falcon. So kind of surprising to not see, and you can see even just the threat of the Shuriken is enough.
The Assault Marines. All right, they'll get out of there alive, but that was still pretty close. The Banshee's now actually in a little bit of trouble. If he doesn't retreat them like now, I think they're like gone.
Oh, the tax
not going for the force melee and retreat though. Yeah.
The VPs are so low. I think RedBeard just wants to end the game. He's not even worried about the squad wipes. He just wants to finish capping and keep everything. Like, I mean, he's lost 7 VPs. He's got all the time in the world.
Yeah, and the victory points actually go back in RedBeard's favor.
Okay, so Lomors did get the Bright Lance, so I think he might have just forgotten to hit the upgrade button earlier.
Yeah, I kind of think that he had to. Like, I think, given that he's dealing with a Dreadnought, I don't think he can, and with the victory points being what they are, he can't afford to play a slow game here.
Oh no, he might just lose this Bright Lance. Oh, the Dreadnought didn't get the punch down.
He's losing the Warp Spiders too.
Oh, the Warp Spiders are definitely toast.
The Dreadnought should be...
If it spots them.
I think it should just be one shot.
Turned into Warp Spider bits.
And the Dreadnought's going to go forward, kind of like the way the Wraith Lords went forward last game. It targeted the Guardian Weapon team, but it can't be slow. It should just be one more shot finishes off the Falcon. It doesn't even matter whether it's
Falcon's
rear armor
down.
or front armor.
GG comes in, and man, well played from RedBeard. That's going to even it up 1-1 in our first Friday Night Fights match. These are good games. I like it.
Techmarine doing some work.
Yeah,
I actually wasn't really aware of the RedBeard Techmarine.
Turns out he's got it on lock. Okay, let's see. One. Game number 3, the ace match, if we're only going to 3. Lomors, unfortunately, couldn't stick around for the full best of 5. So Lomors gets the final map pick.
I'm looking forward to the Sorcerer, even though I don't know if I've actually seen the RedBeard Sorcerer.
Yeah. A Sorcerer versus a Warlock. Sounds like an even fight to me. Is there a difference? Is there a game where there's a class that's a sorcerer and there's a class that's a warlock and they have like different abilities and skills and stuff?
I don't know, maybe World of Warcraft or something?
Yeah, they have, well, they have mages and warlocks. I guess that's as close as we get.
I don't even know the lexical differences between like a warlock and a sorcerer.
Me neither. Okay. Anyways, Lomors this time as the blue Eldar Warlock, RedBeard as the red Chaos Sorcerer. We're on Calderis. It's 1-1. Whoever takes this match takes the night.
RedBeard going to be going with the 2 ticks, 1 CSM. I'd say that's pretty much the most common sorcerer build for 1v1. Lomors not going for that second Dire Avenger, at least not yet. He put down the node instead of getting like a second Dire Avenger where we saw him do that in the first game. And then of course, you know, one of the big questions here is, you know, getting a Guardian weapon team can be kind of questionable against the sorcerer, so I wonder what Lomors will do in that regard if he's not also going for a more Dire Avengers. He's putting down more power, which indicates he wants a tier 1.5 squad.
Yeah, I mean, he must be going Shuriken or Rangers first. Rangers, I guess, I don't know if that's a good choice or a bad here. I mean, it does give you the detection against the Chaos Sorcerer's worship.
Yeah, I think probably at least a Ranger, but the Guardian weapon team, of course, just with what the Sorcerer can do is always kind of questionable. It's kind of hard to make that work. Warlock chasing down some heretics. Probably used Destructor on them, although I didn't catch it on screen.
Yeah, pretty much nailed them, so Destructor a little easier to hit than those Doom Bolts sometimes. Both of these guys have some tier 1 magic smites available.
Yeah, certainly the Destructor very, very powerful against the heretics if it does hit them correctly. If anything, with how much health they had, it didn't seem like a full-on hit, but Doom Bolts definitely scales better between the two of them. Better later on against like tier 2 squads and such.
I stand face to face with them.
So it is going to be Rangers out of Lomors, and I think that makes sense.
We must arm for even cooler warfare.
Reasonable assumption that, you know, there could be Tzeentch worship at some time. Works decently against the Chaos Space Marines since there's no like Nurgle worship or anything like that. So,
Ready the Warlock's mantle.
ooh,
Yeah,
Noise Marines out of RedBeard.
And it looks like the Warlock's getting geared up this time again as well. Champion's Robe coming down. Expensive war gear, 120-30 for that thing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense though, and I actually see this as like I think I'm even okay if Lomors doesn't even get another unit in tier 1, even against RedBeard's 4 squads, since the Warlock is looking to be tanky. Traditionally, the Sorcerer does struggle against that a little bit, since the Sorcerer, his army, like if you just look at his composition, he's kind of lacking in single target damage. It's mostly concentrated in the Space Marines, who actually have lower overall DPS than the Dire Avengers. Nothing else is really great against like single targets, aside from maybe the Sorcerer, but he's going to lose in a duel against the Warlock.
Right, exactly. The real scary part is going to be how the Noise Marines come into play. I think if those come in, get a good engagement, get out of control, and burn down the gen farm, that could be really bad. He hasn't spotted them yet, and they are moving in on the gen farm right now.
Meanwhile, in the middle, Chaos Space Marines. I feel like Chaos Space Marines need to turn around a little bit faster to focus on those. Oh no, Heretic Squad goes down. Didn't get the Heretics out of there fast enough, and didn't also have the Chaos Space Marines turn around to focus down the Howling Banshees to put more threat on them.
Now, with the
So
Banshees
early
retreating,
Heretic
though, I think the Noise Marines are going to have their chance to get their way with the gens over here. The Warlock's moving to engage. The Sorcerer maybe doesn't have enough energy to teleport on top of the Rangers.
And at this point, he also can't see the Rangers anymore.
Oh, man. And we can see with the Champion's Robe, that Psychic Shield actually prevents the knockback. So the Warlock actually can charge in on the Noise Marines. Even with their...
Now we see...
Go ahead.
Yeah, we see the 1v1 between the Sorcerer and the Warlock, and even with the Chaos Space Marine support, just the Sorcerer does not win that 1v1, and it's... Although he did have less health going into it, so he will be just retreating out of there. Ranger's also doing some work on those Chaos Space Marines as the Warlock continues his approach. And even just with these two squads here, these two squads combined can't deal with the Warlock by himself at the moment.
All right, so Warlock continuing to. Oh wait, no, I forgot. I thought Lomors was actually. I'm always confused. I thought Lomors was in control of the VPs, but finally now getting the 500 points off the board for RedBeard here, taking the center VP and looking pretty good. With that Heretic squad going down, it did get repurchased actually.
Yeah, and I think it's I think it's reasonable. I think it's going to be helpful for the map control. I think he also, as a relatively early Heretic squad loss, it doesn't hurt too much, and I don't think it didn't have an aspiring champion either.
Yeah, this is a little much for the Banshees to handle. Eldar a bit out of position. That's going to be pretty much a full retreat. That said, the Warlock is still charging all over the place. Did he get concerned that the Noise Marines were by his gens? He fell all the way back to his generators.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
they are going for it.
Yeah, they are over here. He just didn't spot them quite yet.
They are going for
there
it,
he
as
is,
we saw. Like, yeah, because the Warlock, like, once the Warlock gets on the Noise Marines, cacophony isn't enough. It just isn't. And we'll see the Noise Marines just straight up going to get out of there. They're just taking too much, like, big chunks of their health out when they get hit by the Warlock.
Yeah, the Merciless Witchblade hits so hard.
Tell me quickly what you wish.
And then with that jump that the Warlock has, everyone's favorite, that battle leap, he constantly gets those knockdowns as well.
We are locked with the enemy.
So Noise Marines will turn around to deal with the Warlock, as of course the Warlock is in melee with the Heretics. But as we see, their single target damage isn't great. Those Noise Marines more meant for that area of effect damage, which can be good against like Dire Avengers, but not so much against the Warlock. The Warlock is doing so much. It's taking 4 units right now to deal with him. Eventually, he finally will get forced off.
Yeah, but now the Banshees are here. Let's see, the Noise Marines are going to be forced. Yeah, the Banshees don't want to engage with them. They don't want to take that noise damage either, though.
Yeah, I think that was a questionable approach from the Banshees. I mean, I think he was just looking for the Noise Marines, but I think there were just too many other units there against Banshees, which, you know, they're not like the Warlock, where the Warlock can actually just tank all that.
All right, well, as has been the usual situation, Lomors into Tier 2 well ahead of his opponent. There's a Wraithlord coming onto the field while RedBeard just now hits Tier 2. That said, the Noise Marines are here. They might get a Gen Bash. The Rangers are looking to finish them off, at least scare them back. They still have 2 models, so they can take one more Ranger shot. Is he going to risk it?
Oh, God, this is...
Oh, my
scary.
gosh. If he loses those Noise Marines, nope, they managed to survive.
They'll be okay.
He traded 1 Noise Marine for an additional gen, probably worth it.
All right, so that Wraithlord is out on the field, and honestly, I want to see him be pretty aggressive with this. I wanted to see him kind of bully RedBeard with this, because aside from, you know, the fact that he has a tech lead, he's in Tier 2 with a Wraithlord already out, whereas RedBeard not even in Tier 2 yet. RedBeard, as the sorcerer, I think vehicles is one of the things that he's going to struggle with a little bit, in part because he literally can't upgrade. The only unit he can upgrade that can realistically threaten the Wraithlord at all would be the Noise Marines. Other than that, he needs to get some entirely new unit just to be able to touch this Wraithlord.
All right. Ooh, it looks like BestNoob might be stepping up against Piano here.
BestNoob, oh man.
That's the match we've been wanting.
That is the match. Unless BestNoob wins it 3-0. But hopefully it's better.
Oh man, look at these 2 Heretics over here. They're just trying their hardest. It's gonna take them so long to break that down. Good job, guys.
Oh, the problem is also,
Oh,
I don't know if
no.
he's just giving up these Heretics, because I'm pretty sure they just die here.
Yeah, there's no way they can get out of here.
Oh, the Warp Global. The
Oh
Warp
my
Global to save a
God.
squad of Heretics.
I mean, I guess if you gotta save
that
them, I just
point-
don't know why they were out there.
At that point, I almost even wonder, like, that was a non-AC Heretic squad that you just spent on 100 red on just to save. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been
I'm
cheaper
not-
just to buy a new squad.
I mean that warp global could have been like saved for some like silly stuff where you teleport the sorcerer in and then use warp global on the plague marines when they're like already like behind the wraith lord or something. But we'll never know.
All right, so we can see the warlock's actually standing in a perfect position where he moved. He was in a weird spot where the heretics actually couldn't move in to surround him. So he was just kind of killing one heretic at his time with the sorcerer at his back.
And I'm not sure who he was targeting, but I think ideally he wants to try to target the sorcerer to see if he can proc a special attack so that it'll actually just hit all of them. Alright, Noise Marine's doing a little bit more generator bashing though. Oh, and we've got the dog out on the field.
Yep, the dog is coming. There was a return bash from the Dire Avengers. They only managed to get one generator. They almost got a second, but the sorcerer came in and said no to that. That said, the Noise Marines are finding themselves on the wrong end of the Wraith Lord right now.
Oh no,
So
well, that's not a
Banshees-
great retreat path for them. That's the entire squad, I think. Alright, the Banshees took a little while getting up, but what else could be in the path? Nothing. Okay, it
Yeah, it
gets
looks
out
like
alive.
they're clear. That's very
That was
fortunate.
scary.
We are losing a requisition point to the enemy.
All right, Blood Crusher out. The Demon Dog charging forward. There's not even much over here to bash anymore. 343 to 413. Victory points pretty even up right now. Only a 50-point difference. Warp Spider's coming out here as well to help deal with the Blood Crusher. But a lot of stuff changing hands here.
Yeah, now RedBeard does have that infiltration formation set up, and I think that's strong enough that he should be able to hold the middle victory point. And this is something you can do more so when you already have the victory point, since it is so static. Actually, now he's not going to do it anymore. Heretic's kind of leading the charge. I actually would like to see the infiltration, just in case there is some threat starting to be put on the Blood Crusher.
All right, speaking of the Blood Crusher,
Haywire.
Haywire goes down. The Wraith Lord is looking for the kill. Banshee's shredding these heretics.
The heretics are gone.
The Plague Marines and Siege Marines are in a bad spot too. These Banshees are just going to rip through everything over here. The Warlock now ripping apart the Plague Marines as well.
This is looking like a one engagement for Lomors.
This might be a one game if he doesn't get these Siege Marines out of here. He does manage to get the Blood Crusher out of there, so the only real loss he took was the Heretics. But he bled quite a few models as well.
Yeah,
Noise
unfortunately, I
Marines-
feel like that engagement was kind of mismanaged by RedBeard. I think he needed the Zinch infiltration set up earlier, and then he kind of had it too late when the Banshees had already gotten in.
Yeah, I feel like his plan for the Wraith Lord is to use the Plague Marines and the Blood Crusher to take that out of the match. But with the Warp Spiders running around and all that melee threat, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think he might need one more source of either disruption or more anti-vehicle.
And the Warlock has absolutely been going to town in every engagement. He's level 3. Sorcerer's actually level 4 though, but it does just feel like the Warlock has just been getting so much value. Where he's regularly drawing the aggro of usually 2 squads.
We are under attack from chaotic
Ooh,
units.
playing it dicey with those Rangers.
Victory objective lies ahead.
One model Ranger squad going for the forward cap on the requisition point. They managed to get out of there, but now the full Eldar force moving in on the Gen farm of the Chaos forces. There's the Siege. And yeah, Warlock recognizing he's out of here. So without the Warlock, this force is a lot more vulnerable. There are Banshees over here on the Warp Spiders. But so long as, yeah, see the Noise Marines are moving in.
Yeah, now the Noise Marines are a lot harder to contest. I mean, the Banshees try to go for it. They'll get knocked down by Cacophony, so will the Heretics. And the Zinch Fire would just do too much damage, so the Banshees will just have to retreat. So that's another time where I think there was a little bit of mismanagement. I didn't really like the Warlock going for that cap when it basically meant that he would be forced off early, and then he isn't there to support the rest of his army. And that's kind of what allows RedBeard to take that engagement.
Yeah, like you said, the Warlock has taken a lot of investment. He's a huge part of this force right now, really. I mean, he's just, like you said, he's this one-man army. He's got all of his upgrades. They spent a lot of power on him, you know. He's pretty much more expensive than a Dreadnought at this point.
Yeah, I think maybe Lomors, I feel like maybe just getting a little bit too eager to try to get that victory point, as kind of the big complaint about this map is that it's so hard to sustainably threaten your opponent's natural victory point that it kind of inherently means that Caldera's games are generally going to be longer than games on many other 1v1 maps where it's a little bit easier and less risky to take your opponent's natural victory point.
Alright, Sorcerer gets the decap. The Warp Spiders force him to disengage for the actual cap. Nice looking Dark Flames right here. Cuts off the retreating path of the Banshees. The Noise Marines blasting away as well. Tons of anti-infantry damage going down on all these Eldar squads. The Guardians managed to maybe get out of here in one piece. That Exarch
call in
managed
on the
to
back.
stand.
The piano special.
Altart comes in. And that's going to be enough to
Redbeard
rout
in
the
retreat.
Chaos
I mean, it was
Forces.
looking good for Redbeard at the start, but this is a situation, you know, regardless of other opinions, I actually think the Autarch is really, really strong here, in part because Redbeard is having enough trouble dealing with the Warlock by himself. The Autarch is another single entity, and if she's fully upgraded, she's actually very similar to the Warlock in terms of her tankiness and damage, and the Sorcerer gets picked off as well.
Yeah, he was
It's just
trying
not looking
desperately
good.
to get out of there. He couldn't retreat. He was trying to teleport out of vision, but couldn't manage to quite escape the Eldar forces there. His options were that or retreat through Banshees.
We
Man.
trust in your guidance.
This is looking real rough for the Redbeard Sorcerer. Now he's got time, he's got victory points, he's also got tier 3, but so many things looking like they're going in Lomor's favor.
Yeah, and Chaos is one of those armies that I feel like a lot of people argue can pretty much just do fine in tier 2. So taking a couple losses into tier 3.
Oh no, the
and
Autarch!
not being able to build any tier 3 units might be a bad choice here for Redbeard.
That was lucky for the Autarch there. Now we got the Demon Dog versus the Wraith Lord. Dog is trying to get away, trying to get into the infiltration. Now it's looking to re-engage because it does have the Worship healing. It does also have the support from the Plague Marines. The Wraith Lord might actually now be in serious trouble.
Yeah, is there a Haywire grenade on the field right now? He's
I
trying to
think
chase
they
off
already
the Warp
used
Spiders.
it a little while ago. Heretic Squad will be wiped though.
The problem is without anything to distract the Warlock. God, look at the chunks of health he's taking off these Plague Marines. They need to retreat right now.
I mean, yeah, look at literally him drawing the attention of 3 squads. He might go down though. No, I think he'll be okay. Yeah, especially with the jump coming in from the Autarch, he'll be fine.
Oh my gosh, why is he keeping those North Marines on the field? Oh, they are 100%. Oh my gosh! I lied. I was gonna say they're 100% dead, but they are not. They just barely survived. Still a brazen play to keep him in for that last rocket. He's trying to finish off this Wraith Lord with a few siege blasts. Ooh, but here comes
here's
the
the Predator.
Predator.
Yeah. The Predator.
He stalled just long enough. Don't lose the dog now. Okay. The Predator
Dog
goes
might
down.
actually be able to be finished off by the Haywire. Haywire should be ready now. Yeah. That's it. Unfortunately, that was definitely an unnecessary dog death, although it's also, you know, you're in tier 3 at this point, but, well, Redbeard is in tier 3, Lomors is not, so yeah, it might actually be worth it to try to keep the dog alive.
Yeah, I mean the blood crusher is such a pain of a unit that I feel like oftentimes Chaos kind of just throw them in a point. But with 2 vehicles on the field right now, I think having that blood crusher would have been amazing in conjunction with the Predator.
Yeah, I agree. I mostly just think in terms of when your opponent is actually in tier 3, then it becomes very, very hard to keep a blood crusher alive and actually keep it relevant. But as long as Lomors is stuck in tier 2, I think it's very much worth it to keep the blood crusher alive.
Altar hopping around on her own right now.
We are under attack from chaotic units.
No upgrade yet for the Chaos Predator. Plague Marines, what are you
Marines.
doing? You're out here on your own. He didn't even Oh, he tried to reinforce. He didn't stick around the base long enough to get the unit. You can see on its unit tab, it's actually been
Yeah, I
reinforced.
see it as well. Luckily for them, they do have so many hit points. Dark Flames is going to go out. Mostly going to be dodged, though.
Yeah, I think just trying to buy some, force some repositioning from the Eldar. Oh no, here comes the Haywire and the Bright Lance. The Predator's exposed.
Bright Lance, I think the Bright Lance finishes it. Nope, it's not. It's getting tied up by the Sorcerer. So that the Banshees are going to see if they can do it, but they might be giving their lives to do it.
Oh my gosh,
They
the
don't
Predator
finish it.
survives.
Survives with how much? 38, and now it's going for Nurgle to make sure that it never dies.
Oh no, the Bright Lance is going to die to the Sorcerer.
Yes, it
Oh, and so will the War Spires. That's probably going to be game
Oh my
right
God.
there.
will. What a big win there by RedBeard.
If the tank had gone down, it might have been.
The
might have been
Autark
a
is trying to
different
finish the
story.
tank, but now it's a Nurgle Predator.
No, you can't finish it with just some power
Yeah.
melee at this point.
If it was still a regular Predator, I think the Autark could do that, but not a Nurgle Predator. Not through the melee resistance, not through the health regeneration.
Oh, I didn't realize it gave melee resist as well. Wow.
Yep, it's actually right there in the tooltip. So yeah, just those two combined, there's no way that the Autark with that power melee executioner spear is going to be able to finish off a Predator. Oh, Nurgle Predator, that is.
Throwing in his Warlock, I think that might be him throwing in the towel. Oh, no, he was not retreating. Maybe he thought he retreated. Sad face from Lomors. RedBeard on the verge of taking its first Friday Night Fight title. It's looking
Another use of
strong.
Dark
It's certainly
Flames.
not over, but things are in his favor.
Dark Flames kind of splitting up the Eldar formation as the Dire Avengers don't really join in this engagement as they just try to focus on getting away from those Dark Flames.
So they resist us.
Yeah, this is going to be rough for Lomors now to deal with that Predator.
Oh no, RedBeard! What are you
Noise
doing
Marines
with
are
those Noise
gone.
Marines?
Actually, the Noise Marines, they're not gone. I'm actually surprised.
At this point, I think it's time to just turn those into a Blast Master, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no well, he might have actually gotten the generators with his with that last approach by the Noise Marines, but especially with the generators gone now, yeah, I think he should just get a Blast
We
Master.
have 200 points remaining.
But Lomors apparently has not given up yet. He's still in this, still trying to make something happen here.
Yeah, he's still got 200 victory points left. Like you said, I mean, Calderis is a tough map to really lock the game out. So it's a map where you have to you're playing the long game, right? You have to keep fighting to hold that center point. You really have to obliterate an army if you want the game to be over on Calderis.
Yeah, he's even using that. He used the Autark to actually get a decap on RedBeard's natural, and I kind of talked before about how difficult that is. But the Autark is a unit who kind of enables that somewhat. Since she does have, she's got the jump, of course. She also has 7.5 speed, which is always striking me as just crazy how fast she is.
Yeah, she is extremely quick unit.
Warlock going to be ripping apart these Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. No model kills yet, but certainly a lot of health damage done. Now he's going to be targeted by the Nurgle Predator. There's a model, and it was the Aspiring Champion. Eventually he does have to retreat, though. Wow, RedBeard actually about to threaten a triple cap on Calderis Refinery. Kind of just, a lot of it has to do, obviously, on the strength of this Nurgle.
Yeah, it might be getting to the point that the game is closed out here. There's not enough anti-vehicle on the field to really threaten the Nurgle Predator.
To the enemy.
And you know what
That
else
said,
we
the
got?
warp gates are no joke. You can see, you can be base locked as Eldar. It doesn't matter. You can just hop out on the other side of the map.
We got one of my favorite things. I wonder if we'll see a good use out of it. The Tome of Subjugation from
Ooh.
the Sorcerer. Don't know. At this point, I'm not sure if we'll really see like a high value use out of it. But
I mean, stealing some Banshees to kill that
yeah,
Bright Lance
that would
sounds
definitely
like
be the
plan.
choice target to use it on the Banshees. Another idea, a little bit harder to execute. Oh, Banshees though, yeah, they have been stolen. Here they are.
Oh my God, they obliterate!
Guardian weapon team. Now that okay, so we actually really did see a high value play out of it.
We have 100 points remaining.
Beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always need to be grabbing Terminators or Knobs or something like that. Like the Banshees are a tier 1 squad. They scale so well into the late game. I mean, they're level 3. They're almost level 4. Now, do they get experience for killing their own Bright Lance?
That's a good question. That I'm not sure.
I didn't
but
pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, basically with the Tome of Subjugation, just looking for something that can have like a high impact, like in a short amount of time. So Banshees are absolutely up there. The truth is, any high damage melee squad, regardless of what tier it's from, is a good target for Tome of Subjugation. Dire Avengers trying to get back their victory point, but they'll just be targeted by the Sorcerer. I think this is it. I think this is game.
Yeah, it's a triple cap still. Like you said, a triple cap on Calderas is kind of a statement in itself. With only 40 victory points left, Lomors has to cap pretty much any second now, and he's not moving out on the map. It looks like he's kind of figuring out what he can do. He's got the Banshees on the back line still, but they're going to find the Noise Marines and the Siege Marines. The Noise Marines can just knock him over. The Siege Marines can shoot him down. Lomors drops the GG with the points ticking down. That's going to be a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, Redbeard kind of caught onto Lomors' tricks there. At that point, he had anticipated that Lomors would have tried to make some kind of move for his natural victory point, so he had some units guarding it.
All right, well, for our July 3rd Friday night fights, our first victor, match 1, it's Redbeard.
All right, he's readied up.
Okay, here we go. Piano versus BestNoob.
I'm a little worried about this random versus random. I feel like one of them's going to get like a hero that they're going to say is like not that good, and then the game ends. It's like, oh, crappy hero or something. But, you know, let's think positively. Maybe, regardless of what happens, it'll actually just be a high-skill, high-level micro game that we got here.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see the players put on some good games. That's why we're here. Friday night fights. We want show matches. We want people to play well, put on games, hang out, and enjoy some Dawn of War too. So we've got 2 randoms between Piano and BestNoob.
Yeah, and as much as, you know, Piano's someone who I give kind of crap because he's, you know, he's kind of strange, but as far as, you know, the players that we could have in this event, these are 2 of the best ones around that we could possibly get. All right, so what did we get? Oh no, that almost doesn't even look random.
Tech Marine for Piano, Warp Spider for BestNoob. Piano's calling
I wouldn't even
GG.
be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if BestNoob knows that he has Tech Marine just based on that GG. So, just something that Piano has kind of been known for, trying to use the Tech Marine to just like lock people into their bases with turrets. And there's actually one tournament in particular that I think you missed, where he actually literally fully destroyed someone's base in a 2v2 tournament.
Oh my gosh.
Before he was disqualified for smurfing.
Oh dear. What a guy. I mean, every community needs a villain, right?
Yes. So the layout of this map seems somewhat similar to what's it called? Vedrid Folly. Certainly in terms of the victory point layout. PowerPoint's a little bit different though. And
yeah, the powers. There's
much.
2 powers for each player. They're pretty far back, so they're a little difficult to get the bash in sometimes. And then 2 VPs on the westernmost side, 1 on the east. Tech Marine taking a very aggressive stand, just gunning it into enemy territory. BestNoob didn't go for the Banshee, so he doesn't really have anything to do about this. The second Dire Avenger just gets pushed off easy peasy.
Yeah, this is kind of rough because like if the Tech Marine and the Tax, like they just go together, they beat just about anything that BestNoob has at the moment, and especially if they approach Dire Avengers, it'll only take a few seconds before they do actually just kill one of the Dire Avenger models, and then the Dire Avengers are looking at retreating.
Support structure complete.
Alright, so we have a Shuriken Cannon coming out first thing. It looks like BestNoob's just not going for Banshees this round. He's going to get the Shuriken next. Warp Spider hops into the garrison to try to soften up those tactical Marines a little bit. Scouts dueling with a whole pile of Dire Avengers. Decide better on that one.
Piano even asking him to go Banshees. But I think I can see why. I think especially if we see some of those war gear upgrades, the mastercrafted bolter, shotguns. I think it can be very hard to make Banshees really get value. And then one that we don't see too often, because I think if you get this after like mastercrafted bolter, it can kind of be overkill, but the bionics.
Oh, interesting. All right, Tactical Marines, the second squad coming out now. And I don't know if BestNoob goes for a second Shuriken here. I think he's just set with this current lineup. I mean, unless Piano gets really tricky with some scout infiltration and grenades.
Understood.
Yeah, and he might even just try to play it Company of Heroes style, where, and it's funny because he was saying some colorful things about Company of Heroes, where you actually just spread out your units enough that you get enough like flanking angles that you can deal with the setup team that way. I definitely think he can do that if it's only one Guardian Weapon team, but the second one is on its way, and that's going to make it considerably harder to do that.
Yeah. Now we do see that one scout's already gotten upgraded with his Sarge, as I kind of expected. The second one is still not upgraded quite yet. Granted, it's falling back for the moment. And but as we've been seeing with Eldar gets those gens down first. There are 3 gens down for the Eldar. There's still nothing but the node for the Space Marines. So if BestNoob, I feel like if BestNoob controls the next coming engagement where these 2 Tactical Marines are on the field, he's going to be in a huge advantage. He's going to be way ahead in tech. If these Tactical Marines get suppressed, there's a grenade waiting for them.
Tech Marine's in trouble. All right, I think he gets out alive, especially with the Guardian.
Oh, the Flamer just rips apart the Guardian team on the left side of the map. He went double Flamer, and that Dire Avenger squad just disappeared.
We shall make it so.
Ouch. Yeah, double Flamer, man. How often do you see that?
Now, the disappointing part there is that the 2 Tech were actually in range of the Guardian Weapons team, but they were focusing down the Techie. Techie managed to escape, and then without the attacks being suppressed, they dodged the grenade, they returned fire, they took out the Dire Avengers. BestNoob still looking good on tech, but suddenly a little lacking in the field presence department. Grenade comes in, he did spot it soon enough to dodge away. Doesn't even have to retreat, it's very, very good play there. Oh, but he's not set up to face the scats. Loses a model, falls back. And I think, despite the squad loss, I think BestNoob is doing all right here. He's going to be able to head into Tier 2 relatively soon. The tricky part now is going to be dealing with these scouts. And he's got the Warp Spider, so it shouldn't be too much of trouble. But the 2 scouts can kind of still run around and harass. And with only the Dire Avengers out here, the Tech Marine can kind of... It's a tricky situation.
Yeah, and I think, you know, on the one hand, we could, like, count the units and be like, oh, but BestNoob only has 1 less unit than Piano. But part of what's difficult about that is that 2 of those are Guardian Weapons teams, so they're very static. They're not units you really want to be using for map control, ideally. You want them to be actually basically contributing to some kind of fight, using their suppression to actually help you win fights. Oh, but this Guardian Weapon team setting up right in front of a scout does dodge the grenade, but it's also just taking damage, and the scouts also even get into melee.
Yeah, luckily the second squad was protecting the power farm, and with the scouts not having their grenade to disrupt the team, it should just be able to lock this power farm down. Alice doesn't have anything to really bring things around to stop these Guardian Weapons team. Nothing can break through them right now, unless it just moves forward and walks into a Tech Marine.
God, these Dire Avengers, though, they absolutely don't win this fight. Not any day of the week. And they die. Well, not the entire squad. A few models, though.
Yeah, a few models go down. They have to fall back. BestNoob's going to be hitting Tier 2 here shortly. But are the gens going to be exposed? There is one grenade on the
turret
scouts.
coming down.
Oh no, the turret's going down on the gen farm.
I'm actually not that impressed with this turret. And the reason why is because I do think that one of these Guardian Weapons teams could just slap one of Brightlands, and then it should be able to shoot at the Tarantula turret from long enough range that it should just be able to deal with that. Although the potentially triple repairs could also be difficult to DPS through.
Well, the problem is right now is that the turret's just a little late, right? Like a Falcon's coming onto the field here shortly. Is he going to drop a second turret and get a missile upgrade? He can't even do that until Tier 2, right? And he's nowhere close.
Think so. I don't think so, but at the very least, I think he'll be able to use this turret to get a full power push. His tactical Marines were moved up close enough at the right time, and the turret hasn't been responded to just yet. He's actually going to move the tax back when I feel like he could continue to bash the power, and I feel like that's ideally what he wants to get out of this turret.
The other problem is now just being short of that extra Guardian squad or that extra Dire Avenger squad is that you sacrifice so much map control. You can see right now that the map is starting to turn blue here. The attacks are just running around, but with the Falcon out here.
Yeah, and if anything, it's almost going to get even harder at this point with a Falcon out on the field. The Dire Avengers want to regularly be with and inside the Falcon, so they won't really be available for capturing either. So it's mostly the Warp Spider Exarch who's responsible for map control for BestNoob at this point.
Right, I mean, but I guess if someone's going to be relegated to that task, who better? Now with the Falcon out here being the spear of the army, the Warp Spider is going to pretty much be free to jump around and do whatever he'd like. Alice, or Piano rather, heading into tier 2 now, but the Falcon damage
does get a model.
might be done.
Our fortifications are under
The gens are still full up on that side of the map. The
Yeah.
turret will go down to the Falcon here.
I was going to say, I kind of wanted to see him like commit that Falcon to actually getting a generator bash of his own, but he needs to make sure that he takes down the turret first, and at the moment he needs to use the Falcon for that since he did not go for a Bright Lance on either of his Guardian weapon teams, and probably didn't want to, in part because it's not like there are any vehicles to deal with, and giving up one of those shuriken cannons would make them a lot less effective against basically everything that Piano has.
Additional units have become available, Commander.
Alright, so suppression comes in over here. There are flanking scouts and tactical marines though, so the Bright Lance has the fallback. Falcon's still pushing forward, manages to tag another tactical marine.
So that was kind of that Company of Heroes style response to the suppression team. No jetpacks in Company of Heroes.
Yeah, just
just
flanking, good positioning, grenades.
Yep.
On an open map like this that has lots of flanking routes, that's sometimes all you need. Oh my gosh, and these double flamers, proving time and time again they're worth. They've taken out so many gens this game. Not to mention those.
It honestly strikes me as a very Piano thing to do. Like, I feel like he's the kind of person to really just be like, normally you wouldn't want double flamers, but like I can just like destroy all of my opponent's generators and never let them get power. Like he's very much the kind of player to do that.
Scouts get forced off both sides of the map. Power's decapped for Piano on the eastern side.
So our power income, we're looking at plus 49 to plus 39. BestNoob not actually doing too bad, given that, I mean, he's also got the contested power node in the middle. So he's actually not doing too bad compared to Piano's full power farm at the bottom. Oh, a squad was lost somewhere. Oh no, it was just changed to Stern Guard veterans.
Yeah, the injured squad got upgraded.
I thought they had been wiped just because I saw them missing from the unit tab.
That always scares me when I'm playing Space Marine and I upgrade my Stern Guards and I see out of the corner of my eye one of my squads disappear and I'm like, oh god, what did I forget? And then the Stern Guards come back, but like almost every game that I get Stern Guards, I have that brief moment of panic.
Stern Guard veterans being targeted, but I mean, it's just Dire Avengers against Stern Guard veterans. They win that fight pretty massively, although they're not in cover and the Dire Avengers are. Grenade will go in.
Where's this mass teleport going?
Looking for it, found it. It's gonna go in for the Whirlwind, but actually no, they decide to go for the Tactical Marines instead and get a few models.
Oh,
no,
but the
they're not
Falcon
even getting a
actually
single
hasn't
model.
blocked the Banshees, unfortunately. The Whirlwind actually doing some pretty okay chip damage to that Falcon too. Ooh, are the Stern Guard's going to get the wipe?
Claiming a victory point.
I don't think so. I think they'll survive, but it's deceptive how powerful that damage over time is on retreat.
Yeah, luckily for them, I think that... Oh, the Exarch actually went down. And I was just about to say, yeah, that Exarch pretty tanky, but I think he also just took a lot of the damage. If there was no Exarch, that squad probably would have been dead.
You have to be careful with this Falcon here. The Whirlwind does have that Hunter missile that can take a little chunk off of this Falcon if it gets too much lower. It's a triple cap now against Piano. But all the action is happening into the middle of the map right now. Banshee's trying to get those Stern Guards out of there, but they hop into the safety of the garrison, so they can't get chopped up.
Feel the might of the righteous.
We must reverse the course of the battle.
Oh, Stern Guard veterans, they finally have to get out. And, okay, they do lose a model. I was going to say, are they going to be so lucky if they not lose a model again?
Yeah, that would have been extremely fortunate, but not quite that lucky. Is this a second whirlwind coming out?
This is a second whirlwind.
Eldar are capturing one of our
Oh my
strategic
goodness.
points.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
How
even
much damage
think like
does the missile do?
you know, off the top of my head, I'm just gonna throw it out and like give it a value that is just standard for like many anti-vehicle weapons. I'm gonna say it's somewhere between like 140 and 160, possibly 170, and I'll look it up fairly soon.
Oh my gosh, another mass teleport coming in. The Fire Dragon's looking for a kill. It looks like they're gonna get it. One whirlwind goes down. The mass teleport being used to awesome effect here. Some great move here and army composition choices coming in from BestNoob. The double whirlwind and then the counter with the mass teleport. Stern guards and tactical marines getting locked down, and you were talking about being locked in his base for BestNoob, but it's kind of looking like Piano's the one having the hard time getting out right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like this double whirlwind thing, I don't think it's actually a good idea. I think it's just Piano trying to do some silly things. But,
I think if the Fire Dragons hadn't showed up, it had potential, but now he just spent
they
twice
showed
the
up.
money for one whirlwind. So,
yeah, I think what he was literally planning to do, like I think he was literally trying to see if he could kill the Falcon with Hunter killer missiles, which, as it turns out, they do 175 damage.
So they do 175, so you drop the... I think if the Falcon had gotten low enough there just from the chip damage, and then you drop the Hunter Killers, and then maybe the Stern Guards pop a couple shots in there with their Vengeance rounds, I think it's a possibility.
One of our victory
And then you have Whirlwinds to constantly disrupt all the Eldar formations, especially with the double Bright Lance teams. I think it had potential. But unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that. The Fire Dragon saw to that, and with 150 victory points almost, Piano has precious little time to do anything about this map position.
Yeah, it feels like to me that BestNoob taking this just a little bit more seriously, although this is also just part of what Piano does.
I mean, you're never going to find new builds if you don't try it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's also just nice to see this is a show match. It's not a tournament match, and we get to see good players try to actually make some strange builds work.
Because there was a period in time that we saw the Falcon was actually quite low earlier, just from the chip damage that those Whirlwind rockets do. They don't do no damage, and the Falcon, despite being so notorious, is not a super hardy tank. You can see it's down under 350 right now. Another mass teleport coming in. The Fire Dragon's looking for that other Whirlwind. The Whirlwind's moving to disengage.
Will they get it? I think they will. Although we do see flame attacks trying to come in, but the Warp Spider
their range
are
is
tying
so
them
long.
up. And it's gone.
The crack shot on the Fire Dragons managed to finish it off there.
Oh, shot. That's another global. I sometimes forget that one even exists.
I feel like we just don't see a lot of Warp Spider anymore. I feel like we more
Yeah,
often see
and that's a good
Farseer
point,
and
too.
Warlock.
ready. Ionic enhancement.
Okay, so we now have a Dreadnought coming onto the field for Piano. I mean, losing two vehicles is pretty tough to come back from. I'm glad he hasn't thrown in the towel. He's still going to try one last-ditch effort, get the Dreadnought on the field, see what he can do with it. The Melted Dread, I feel like, is normally the first choice for dealing with the Falcon. That's what we saw him do in a match earlier. I don't know if it was last week or earlier this week.
I think we even, well, I don't know about these players, but I believe we even saw that earlier today.
Yeah, that we did.
So Dreadnought currently just keeping the Power Fist, although I think Piano also just trying to reinforce some units, and it will indeed be the Multi-Melta.
The center power is captured, so the Falcon should be able to see this Dreadnought coming towards it. He's going to probably see it right as it pops on that multi-melta too, so the Falcon's moving back. Guardian Weapons team watching the VP with only 50 points remaining. This is ride or die right now with this Dreadnought. He needs to take out the Falcon or at least push it back off the field. BestNoob's heading into tier 3 right now. Grenade comes down on the Guardian Weapons team to open the engagement, and the multi-melta is in hot pursuit of that Falcon. Grenade comes down, tries to spike to stop the scout support, and now the Fire Dragons are here.
Move teleport, unfortunately, I think, okay.
This time
Banshis
around,
are
I don't
coming to
think the
support.
Fire Dragons are going to be enough.
Banshees coming in to support might be able to make it happen.
The Fire Dragons
But
are
part of
already
what's
down to
going
2
on-
models, though.
Part of what's also going on is that Piano is not capturing the victory points. So it's a 2-to-1 ticking down in BestNoob's favor. 20 victory points left for Piano.
Oh my gosh, the Banshees might lose this melee fight. Falcon goes down, 14 points remaining. He's going for the cap. Is it going to be fast enough?
The
Oh my
Dire
gosh.
Avengers should be able to stop it, but they're not.
No, I
The
think they
decap
already used
will
their
happen.
grenade. Ooh, the Eldritch Storm comes down. Doesn't quite finish it off, but the Fire Dragons might be able to stop it on their own.
Blessing of the Omnicide trying to keep it alive, and we're going to see
No,
something
it's
called
just
in
not
here.
quite enough. It's just a squad of Tactical Marines. It might be enough to stall a little bit longer, though. The Shuriken
kind of a
Weapons
sloppy
team
fight in the
continuing
end.
to put out some fire. It's hectic everywhere. Everyone's throwing out all the abilities they have. Grenade goes down, doesn't hit the Tech Marine. And Piano holds, if only for a few extra moments.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be game. Especially when Piano literally just wasn't even capturing that bottom victory point for a while. I mean, I know at first he was trying to dislodge the Guardian Weapon team that was protecting it, but then he got even the tax that should have been capturing it caught up in a fight against everything else. Which, I mean, I guess in the end, he does stay in here, but it was looking very questionable for a while. Tactical Marines were looking for a tie-up when they've got, like, no health themselves. 80 hit points.
We've got another call in here. Is this a reinforcement call, or is this just more tags?
I feel like it's reinforcement would make more sense.
He
Yeah,
reinforces.
so he ends up
but-
reinforcing both of those
Eldar
squads.
claiming a victory
Oh,
point.
the scouts were trying so hard to stay out of the line of sight, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to get the cap, and that's going to be the game.
Are never truly
A valiant effort trying to get back into that. If Piano hadn't lost that Dreadnought, it would have been pretty spooky for the Eldar. Suddenly down a couple squads in a vehicle, but it would have been a hard fight either way. Well played by both sides. BestNoob takes the first match.
That was a fun game. You know, I was a little bit concerned about the random, but, you know, it worked out in the end.
Here we go. Match 2, game 2.
We need Antandron to hit the ready button.
It's always the observers, man. All right. So, Solomon Island. Got the big gap in the middle. Victory points, similar layout actually to the map we were just on, Fen Dunlop. Alright, on the south side we've got BestNoob as the war boss for the Orcs. And then Piano up north as the Lord General, bringing the Imperial Guard to bear.
It's funny, before we went with the random thing, it was BestNoob who wanted to play the Lord General.
Well, now he gets to play against him.
Yep.
All
So we're
right,
going to see the double shooters out of BestNoob.
double shooters and the Sentinel. I mean, double shooters is what you're going to want. If you went for double sluggers, I think we would have been in for some sad stuff.
Yeah, these are the historic builds, the historic opening builds for these two races. Like, not just traditional, not just meta, like historic. They've just been around for ages.
I mean, if it works, you don't change it.
So obviously your double shooter boys, although they're going to bleed, if they do get upgrades, big shooters, as well as the shooter knob, they can definitely put a lot of pressure on the Sentinel, a lot more so than many other races. And then it's going to be kind of a big micro test for Piano if BestNoob does indeed get those upgrades. He might not go with the full upgrades. I don't know if we'll see him do that.
Best
Might just
going
get a
for
little
the
bit less.
second slugger as well.
Yeah. So, and that second slugger really early, like basically before he puts down any generators whatsoever.
Well figured out, boost right out.
So
Yeah,
he's going to be
so-
looking a lot more for map control then.
Yeah.
But he's looking for map control at the moment. He's kind of losing it though, because that Sentinel is kind of just doing what it wants.
Yeah, he left the he didn't manage to cap the power node because he went for that third early squad. So the Sentinel gets the decap. Slugger Boy's out of position as well. It looks like BestNoob's having a little trouble with this opening engagement. Both the Slugger Boys getting ripped apart over here. Sentinel zoning pretty well, gets the stomp down. These Slugger Boys aren't going to be able to do anything. The shooters are all
this
that
is
is
going to be
left.
another Slugger squad in retreat, if not wiped. And the shooters finally show up, but honestly, way too late. They have no upgrades, and they're just completely outnumbered. This is not a good start. This really has to be worried.
Yeah, now honestly, what I want to see now is I just want to see Piano spread out, take the map wherever he can. I mean, the War Boss is going to stall for time here, and that's exactly what BestNoob wants. BestNoob just wants the War Boss to waste time.
I think a shooter squad is dead.
The Sentinel's
If
looking
the
for the
Sentinel
kill.
starts shooting at it.
Is he going to follow it? He might get... Oh my gosh.
Just need it to open with one more volley.
And now it's one. And now this was the composition that I was worried about. If I was going to say if he went for just 2 sluggers and 1 shooter, it was going to be really rough. And now that's what we're looking at.
So he has to replace the shooters. He literally has no power except for the power that's being produced by his HQ at the moment.
Yeah, that said, he still has both the victory points. Piano didn't split off at any point to snag the VP.
Oh, Piano.
Oh, there we go.
Like so many other people would just be so focused on playing that they wouldn't be bothering to type anything.
Dawn of War gives you opportunities when your entire army's in retreat to talk shit. Unbreakable heavy cover, good.
Unbreakable heavy cover. I wonder exactly which part is the unbreakable heavy cover.
I believe you can't walk
Probably
over
the tank
tank
traps?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's not just Swift's fault. I feel like
No,
that's-
there's definitely plenty of maps that have unbreakable green cover. And there are some maps with no green cover at all.
Next, we need a map with no cover at all.
Oh man. That's an IG
Anyway.
playground.
Sentinel, moving forward aggressively, can do that in part because we have no shooter upgrades. I think he's trying to use wands to get a little bit more damage output out of them. But the Sentinel not being pressured nearly as much as I would have expected it to against an Orc player.
Yeah, his first upgrades were the flamers instead of the big shooters.
Man, Ard Boys put on the Sluggers when they were already really low after they got hit by the Catachan Devils old reliable. Catachan Devils, all their spells are on cooldown now though. Sluggers looking to get into melee with them.
We do have a shooter knob out. The Catachan did manage to save the one Guardian squad, or Guardsman squad that was looking pretty worse for the wear, and now, ooh, just barely dodging that. If that stomp had gone down, those Catachans may well have gone down with it.
Sluggers will get stomped. They actually retreat before they get knocked over. And, I mean, at BestNoob now, actually, I think the things that went well for BestNoob is that since Piano did not take that opportunity to spread out and capture the map, as you said, BestNoob he could afford to just bunch up his army to try to actually fight back. And definitely his army does rely on some amount of bunching up. Because he ideally wants the 2 shooters together, and then he needs at least 1 melee unit to kind of draw the aggro, which in this case is the War Boss. So yeah, despite the rough early game for BestNoob, this isn't looking so terrible for him as I originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, he managed to pull it around. He rallied the orcs. He used the War Boss to stall for a bit, forced a full retreat, and then got in the face of the Imperial Guard again. So, and the whole time he's been sitting on that second victory point. So you can see that despite that nice opening, Piano's down by about 150 victory points. Piano's getting a little bit of a gem dash in here, though, but I doubt he's going to take any gems out. Just soften them up for the next round. And we're just kind of seeing the power of, like, having this many orc squads, right?
Yeah, and we see, okay, now the big shooters are finally coming in. He went for the knobs first, so looking more for that tankiness and staying power from all the extra health that you get out of the shooter knob. Doesn't offer as much raw damage, but eventually he does, of course, get the big shooters. He's got 1 squad with big shooters now. Second one is queuing up at the moment, and this is where things, I think, can really begin to stabilize for BestNoob. However, that being said, he's still definitely behind in tech, and Piano can start tech to tier 2 right now.
That said, Piano looks like he's about to lose his whole gem farm.
Yeah, and this generator bash is so important, just given everything else that I've said.
The Catachans know they can't quite engage. Maybe if they can move up to some green cover nearby, or maybe they're trying to move... Oh, they're trying to engage the war boss. They decide against that, hunker down.
Yeah, Catachan Devil's also just kind of caught isolated. They do use the smoke grenade to kind of tank some of that damage. And they're doing okay, and now the support's coming in from the Lord General and the Sentinel. I think that's actually pretty well played by Piano and the Catachan Devils. They might still eventually have to retreat, but yeah, that was actually pretty well played by Piano.
Yeah, that was some nice micro. The Catachans bought time. They hid behind the cover, drew fire while they had set in the smoke grenade, and the Lord General and his crew all showed up. And now they're ready to return the favor. Gen Bash coming in. Alice, let's see. Piano managed to hold on to 2 of those gens, actually. So not too bad. That could have been much worse.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually kind of crazy that I think BestNoob probably started going a little too hard for the Catachan Devils because he felt that he had them isolated. But then he drew his fire away from the generators. We got a generator here, still with 54 hit points. When you've got double shooters, like 54 hit points is nothing on a generator. Oh, he's putting down a heavy turret.
Oh no!
Oh god.
No shame. It immediately gives a Sluggaboy. And he's just gonna focus the power. He's ignoring the orcs. These heavy turrets actually have vehicle armor, so they're quite hard to take down. You can't just burn them down with flamers.
Yeah. If anything, I don't... Oh, the Sluggers,
no.
Sluggers might go down.
And the Creeping Barrage!
Creeping Barrage as well. Oh, God. And it's going to be upgraded to an Executioner, so it's absolutely going to rip apart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and before we even see it get the chance to rip them apart, BestNoob is just going to concede there.
Yeah, I mean, here, let me just take a quick look. Can I still switch? Yeah. So BestNoob was still 20 power off from even going Tier 2. So that's probably just a fair GG right there. And that's what we were talking about. While BestNoob was holding the map, it just wasn't bringing it together. He kept pushing back, but sometimes it's just so difficult to slow the advance of the Imperial Guard. It's hard to bleed him, and as much as he was doing good work, he just couldn't actually get any hurt in.
Yeah. I mean, although he appeared to make a little bit of a recovery, I think in the end, still giving up his power so early on, I think was kind of his undoing. Because if he did not go for that second Slugger so early, puts down the node instead, you've got a Sentinel and 2 Guardsmen who cannot destroy a node particularly fast, and then he's able to hold on to his power for quite a little bit longer. So, in the end, I still feel that was kind of his undoing.
Yeah, I mean, when there's a Sentinel on the field, you have to be aware, especially on a map where it's pretty close like that. It's something you gotta know that Sentinel's gonna come and check that power node. Okay, here we go. Game number 3. It's 1-1. We're finding the good games now. The first match was good games too, though. Honestly, this is a good Friday night fight. I'm digging it.
Yeah, and I mean, although that second game ended kind of early and might not be long enough for what we normally think of as a good game, I think it was just good in the sense that the way Piano was able to take advantage of BestNoob's decision. I mean, just that very early game decision of BestNoob gets the second Slugger, and then Piano punishes that by having the Sentinel get the decap on the uncapped power node, or the unactivated. But let's move on to this game.
Oh my gosh, Aragino, thanks for subscribing. That's actually our first sub of the week, so thank you so much. BestNoob is the first here. Alice, aka Piano, as the Chaos Lord.
And once again, we're going to see BestNoob go for a Dire Avenger heavy opening. Even heavier this time with the triple Dire Avengers. No Banshees this game. Or at least not yet.
Yeah, now this is a build, speaking of ancient builds, Farseer Triple Guardian or Dire Avenger is one I know from the ye old times.
Yeah, and I actually like it quite a bit, because I think this also does a lot to really just kind of defang the Chaos Lord, where there's just a lot of range damage to focus him down. He just won't buy as much time and space that he otherwise would. Certainly if you only had a single Dire Avenger squad, or even just one, or even 2.
Yeah, I mean, all three of them, and especially if you throw Guide in here, they're going to be able to burn him down pretty quick. See, you see him split the squads pretty easily, and they're just gonna be able to rope dope around a little bit. He does try to pursue the squad that is guided, but I mean, even so, he's just way too low.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare that to, we're kind of going back to different matches here, but if you compare that to kind of the amount of time and aggro that the Warlock was drawing against the Sorcerer earlier compared to this, where the Chaos Lord isn't getting a whole lot done there.
Oh man, you can see BestNoob going straight for a quick Shuriken Cannon as well. So I mean, the range firepower is just going to be hard to surmount here for the Chaos Forces. 2 Heretic squads. Any upgrades yet? I wouldn't be surprised to see the Combat Flamer on the Chaos Lord at some point against Triple Dire Avengers.
Yeah, we even had a suggestion for not just the Combi Flamer, but the Combi Flamer and the shield together. To kind of both increase his tankiness as well as just the amount of range damage he's going to be putting out, and then he could probably put a lot more threat on the Dire Avengers.
Alright, so forcing off Heretics. Raptors coming out seems like a fairly obvious choice against a range-focused army. So the combination of the Raptors and the Chaos Lord, so long as they manage to engage correctly and not get gunned down on approach, as we're kind of seeing with this Chaos Lord. Oh, look at the damage. He's down to half health before he even gets a swing of that big mean Chaos Sword. Some sort of
and the Guardian Weapon Team is here. He's looking to tie it up, but he doesn't have much more health to work with.
He gets the heal, but he's still going to have to retreat immediately. Honestly, the heal probably just keeps him alive on retreat. Manages to bleed a few Dire Avengers there. Gets a couple off of both squads. Raptors are coming out here, but what I would have liked to have seen, I feel like, is I wanted the Chaos Lord to wait for that engagement and engage with the Raptors, because now the Raptors aren't quite enough to do it on their own. The Chaos Lord isn't quite enough to do it on his own. He is going to get the jump here, force off the Guardian Weapons team. The second one coming onto the field, along with the Aspiring Champion for the Heretics.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you know, a big part of the problem with their not waiting for the Raptors for that engagement is that he also gives up the element of surprise now of being able to win with the Raptors before BestNoob really knows. Now BestNoob knows, and now double Shuriken Cannons are already out, so it's actually going to be a lot harder for the Raptors to get value at this point. Raptors, this is going to have to be a retreat from the Raptors. They'll even lose a model. And now they're going to have to go back to base again, and they won't be able to engage alongside the Chaos Lord unless he waits a pretty long time for them to get reinforced and healed up.
Oh, nice dodge to kill the weak there. Yeah, and this might be the final. This might be the moment now that both the Chaos Lord and the Raptors can come in, because so far we've been seeing them fight individually, right? Whereas I think with all this range firepower, you really need to bring both of those to bear against the Eldar forces.
Yeah, it's really tough though, because I think it's going to be tough for him to deal with both of the Shuriken Cannons. Like, I mean, he might be able to jump on the one that's in, like, even if he can jump on the one that's in the back, what exactly is he going to be able to do about the one in the front? Does he, like, I don't know, speed, worship the Chaos Lord around for a flank to get around the firing arc? It still just seems kind of tough for him to actually be able to deal with this composition out of BestNoob.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen grenade launchers maybe on either of the Heretic squads. I suppose you want to keep the melee threats available, but honestly, with a double Shuriken setup, grenade launchers seem like an obvious buy, but maybe he just doesn't feel like that's what he's looking for here.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, in the long run, I feel like usually you want melee Heretics, but with what he's up against, even like the triple, like, what are the melee Heretics going to do against triple Dire Avengers? And, well, we'll see. They're going to try to do something. Let's see if they can get in.
Well, the grenade goes down, does good damage, but also hurts the heavy weapons team. He forces off one of the squads. The second one does stay on the field. A little bash coming in here from these Chaos Marines. Going to be able to take out at least one of these generators, if not 2 or 3. So a good positioning here by Piano, managing to rout the majority of the Eldar army and punish with a little eco damage as well on top of this.
Yeah, this is actually great for Piano, and I think part of what enabled him to do this is that the second Guardian weapon team for BestNoob was not actually really in a position to really respond against the Raptor jump. So kind of that momentary lapse in BestNoob's positioning allows Piano to win engagement, and he gets 2 generators for his troubles as well. So that's pretty good for him.
Yeah,
and
that
he'll start
first,
tier 2.
Yeah, that first engagement was actually before that engagement, the Heretics were coming in from the flank, which caused the forward weapons team to spin around in a bad spot. So good play. That was nice flanking from Piano. Didn't manage to get that VP, however, so the VPs are still about 100 in favor of Piano, instead of potentially a little more. That whole time, that VP sat on. Oh man, look, he's just very brazenly throwing those grenades right on top of his team to respond to the Raptors. He just doesn't want the Raptors in the fight at all.
Mostly naded his own shuriken.
And let's see, how far off is Piano? Piano's still about 40 seconds away from getting into tier 2, and now a little bit longer since he's choosing to get a Chaos Havoc squad. Oof.
That's a really strange one.
I don't get that
really strange
purchase.
Yeah, it's honestly really strange.
Oh wait,
especially
he's already
like
tier 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's honestly a really strange one that Piano's going for a Havoc.
Yeah, it's I guess he just wants the autocannon, but I don't know. I guess that is some range superiority, right? Like the Dire Avengers are still going to take heavy damage from that.
Yeah,
and it outranges the shurikens.
If he can like set it up as he goes in, it'll do a lot of damage to the Dire Avengers with relative impunity. Basically, just unless they're behind an energy shield, but otherwise, it's a lot of damage to them with relative impunity. But it still just really surprised me that he had a tech lead and he's going for a Havoc when he actually had the resources for Blood Crusher.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was just intimidated by the potential for Bright Lances to come onto the field, but I don't. It just seems questionable. We'll see what he goes for next. Maybe he's going for double Havoc autocannons or something like that. It is a big, wide open map. It could be really, really useful to do that, but it seems like when you're ahead in tech, you get that fast vehicle.
I mean, I guess in one sense, I can kind of understand in the sense that, you know, we have a full-on ranged-heavy army from BestNoob, but let's talk about this autark call-in coming in. That's going to make it a lot harder for the Havoc to continue to get value.
And, man, if anyone was talking about the autark before, now they get to see how they deal with it.
Well, the funny thing is, the one who was talking about the autark was Piano.
Yeah, that was... that was just me being a little passive-aggressive.
Very, very nice.
But Blood Crusher coming out here as well. Autark breaks the position.
Guide was put on the Shuriken Cannon, but then I think Malignant Blindness was used in response. And now the Blood Crusher is coming.
Yeah, the Blood Crusher is coming up. The Havoc is in position again, plenty far back this time, so the Dire Avengers aren't going to have an easy time like charging forward to drop a grenade on it or anything. We can see maybe... Oh, I thought he was going to be moving those squads on the flank, but decided against it. Now the Eldar are charging in here. The Autark leaps in, disables the autocannon, but there's a Blood Crusher lying in wait. Raptors immediately have to retreat, though. They don't want to get suppressed and double grenaded. We saw how quick BestNoob was with those grenades earlier on. And
so Bright Lance is upgrading at this time.
Moving back already, getting a little chip damage with that grenade. But the Blood Crusher knows what's up. He's chasing the Autark, but also moving in on that heavy weapons team.
And right as it upgrades to the Bright Lance. So we definitely saw a lot of like counter unit purchases. I think the Havoc had to do a lot with just that it was a full-on ranged infantry army out of BestNoob. The Havoc can just shoot at long range from impunity against that. So that's why we saw the Autark calling, because there was no jump unit or any other kind of unit that was strong against a setup team. Oh no, Autark might go down. Oh, she's
no, it was a little too slow with both the jump. Oh my gosh!
But killing one of the Dire Avengers. And BestNoob will concede.
Wow. Look at that.
And then once the Autark was called in, that was a strong counter against the Havoc, but then the Blood Crusher is a very strong counter to the Autark.
All right, so we're on match point for Piano. Let's see if BestNoob can bring it back. Should we go to the... Will we make it to the classic Game 5 here?
Game 5. Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, as long as we've got like these good players and we're having a show match here, I definitely want to see Game 5.
Oh, of course.
Of course. It'll depend. It'll be interesting to see exactly just what heroes we get this time.
All right, let's see what the lineup is. On
Chaos. Oh no, we got the Eversor Assassin. Maybe he can go for some double strike squad shenanigans.
Uh-oh. He's definitely not afraid to do that. We've seen, I think anytime BestNoob has gotten Grey Knights, he's not been afraid to throw that down.
I haven't actually seen that
Is that good
from
against
him.
Chaos, though?
That's something you've seen from BestNoob? Because I know we saw it from Piano the last Friday.
I think both of these guys are not afraid.
Well, so far we've got the one strike squad out of BestNoob, so he's halfway there.
Alright, so Chaos Lord going for Heretics early, and here's a Fortuna Sanctum. You can see all the VPs actually, like, the VPs are only about a screen away from each other. So they're actually all quite close in the center of this map. All the requisitions right here in the center too. It's a very tight map.
Yeah, I actually mixed this map up with a different one. Another, like, snowy map.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's quite a few snow maps.
Yeah, in fact, I have not seen this map very much at all. But I've definitely heard the name a few times. Eversor Assassin going to be just peppered down by those Chaos Space Marines, down to about half of his health already, just trying to get that requisition point. I'll have to just retreat for it.
And you can see Piano's already calling the double strike squad. Now, Piano's also been arguing, I think, in games that the strike squad smite is fine, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, yep, there's the double strike squad. I'm... You know, I originally didn't think of the double strike squad as being that bad, but I mean, we saw what it could do to those Tyranid squads last week.
Yeah, I mean, these heretics are going to disappear.
Yeah, let's talk about heretics.
Yeah.
I think it's almost like if they want to even like exist at all, I feel like they would need aspiring champions.
Well, this is his time. I mean, if he thinks double strike squad is bad and he's not trolling, which is very possible, this is his time to prove it.
I mean, I definitely think there are certain other weaknesses to the double strike squad, but I mean, if you can wipe enough squads out in tier 1 just with that smite, then I think it's going to be pretty good. Like, you might be able to finish off the game before the problems with strike squads really arise. Like, strike squads, I feel they don't scale very well, especially into tier 3. Alright then, there's our first smite going off, hitting the Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines, ooh, lose 2 models, but there's no way they lose that third one.
Yeah, so the Chaos Lord already used the kill of the week, so he's actually going to get pretty much surrounded and hacked down here by all those big pikes.
Yeah, he needs to go because kill of the week is already on cooldown. Oh man, I can't believe how much Piano talks in game.
Yeah. So Raptor's coming out for Piano. I would argue, looking like a better composition for Piano now than for BestNoob. BestNoob does have the double strike squad, but his Eversor is pretty beat up. He's not going to be able to stick around for the next engagement. And I feel like the combination of the Raptors and the Chaos Lord are going to be a pretty easy match for those strike squad.
Double smite goes out, or double banishment as it's technically called. And Raptors gotta go. Actually, oh man, Raptors lose 2 models for it. I like the composition from Piano. I just don't like the way that particular engagement was managed. Now he's gonna throw the Heretics in there, and they're actually gonna do really, really well against the Strike Squad, and they'll take out 2 models in return. So it's actually a pretty good trade for Piano. But what I would personally like to see, I like the composition because you can jump the Raptors in, get the suppression, and then that makes it easier for the Heretics to get in as well. And I think, in my opinion, the idea for this composition is you want that. You want the Raptors initiating, and then you want the Heretics just right behind them, because the Heretics do a lot more of the damage than the Raptors do, but the Raptors are the stronger initiation.
It's true. All right, so the strike squad, the second strike squad almost goes down. I'm surprised we didn't get the Heretics over here.
They won't get it because they have to deal with the Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they took a pretty hefty grenade hit as well.
Your forces obey you.
BestNoob did lose a lot of models. I think he lost 4 Strike Squad models in total from like that past engagement.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the engagement versus the Raptors was correct, but after that, he probably should have gotten out of there. I guess he just underestimated how well the Heretics were going to do in that fight, along with the Chaos Lord.
In Heretics, we do see only one has an aspiring champion, and that's obviously just going to be like his fighting Heretic squad. The other one going to be relegated probably more so to capping, especially if he's not going to fully reinforce it, which is also incredibly suspect against that double banishment.
Raptor
jumping in by themselves
yeah,
again.
nice evade there from the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. The ISTs managed to get out from under that suppression field. And now the Raptors stuck over here against the 2 squads of strikes, and they remembered how that went last time, so they
jumped themselves into a bad position.
Yeah.
Oh, and they don't. I thought they would just barely get out of there without losing a model, but finally another one goes down.
Yeah, no, it's, I feel like that's something we've been seeing from Piano. We saw that last game a lot, too. I feel like the Raptors just kind of being out on their own and not being used with the rest of the army.
Yeah, I remember that, too. And, oh, man, look at what BestNoob is going for now.
Uh-oh. He doesn't want to do any dreams today.
We'll see if this works. I mean, he can for sure... Certainly, like, the non-AC Heretic squads would absolutely be right. I think there's a decent chance they could finish off even the AC ticks. But I think if I do have a concern with this, is that if he's going to do this, then I think he needs to, like, finish the game sooner by actually inflicting those squad losses that we're talking about. Like, if this game goes on too long, I don't know how well Triple Strike Squad is really going to scale.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Let's see, how's the tech looking? Piano's still a good bit away from tier 2. BestNoob, however.
One for double Raptor? Or is that an Overwatch mistake?
It looks like he canceled that. So the Raptors again getting forced off because, again, they were out here before the rest of the army.
Yeah.
They're just jumping in, and then they get, and then, like, the strikes can pretty much deal with the Raptors on their own. So you need to have extra stuff over here.
Yeah, if there's something that's been holding Piano back, I think his Raptor play is a big part of that, where I feel like this is the 3rd time now where they're jumping into a fight without the support that they really need to succeed. Knockback coming down both from the Chaos Lord as well as the special attack proc by the Strike Squad. Strike Squad still not losing a model. Oh, but Chaos Space Marines absolutely will. Will they? 1, 2. Can we make it 3?
Oh no! Oh no!
Malignant Blindness not enough.
Not quick enough. The squad goes down. Oh, that's a huge loss. These strikes are so nasty.
That wasn't even Smite.
It wasn't. But it was just strike squads in your retreat path. Like I said, this is a very tight map. So all you need to do, you can walk across the VP to the opponent's other side of the map, and you're pretty much guaranteed to be in their retreat path. Because most units are going to travel right through this area right here. Eversor Assassin finding himself a little outmatched.
Eversor Assassin, meanwhile.
I'm not sure what is this ability.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Was that a
no,
global,
Eversor
or is that
Assassin might go. No. He's so low. He's still actually losing health himself.
Oh, he dies!
Oh my god.
Alright, so Piano's tier 2, getting some bloodletters on the field, but there is Rhino coming out as well.
So, from the Eversor Assassin, I'm pretty sure that was a global ability from the Eversor Assassin. Unfortunately, Codex on don't have more that info, not updated, so I can't check it there. Banishment does go out onto the Raptors, but they're fighting against Triple Strike Squad. The Heretics can't deal with that either, but the Bloodletters teleporting in is enough to finally scare the Strike Squads out of here.
Yeah, this is a classic from BestNoob. He's just going to he's gonna sit in base with all three of his transports. Once he gets all three of them out and armed, he's going to roll forward.
I remember the last time he did that.
We have 200 points.
Was it him? It was definitely someone. Probably was him.
I feel like that's the last time I've seen it. But it's
Yeah, I remember
it's a
seeing
pretty standard strat for him I've seen in team games. Yep, there's number 3.
I was gonna say, okay, I was like, does he? He had it even queued up behind the first one.
Well, I mean,
So-
this opening tier, this tier 1 build is relatively cheap. All you buy are the tomes, and you're good to go.
No units for
It's
food.
well, it's very wreck heavy, but certainly very cheap on power.
Oh yeah, sure, that's what I meant.
And there the heavy bolter's coming in. He had the resources ready for that, and he's just waiting for the third one. Oh, he's already driving out. No, he's gonna give up the element of surprise before he has all three. I think it'd just be nice to see all three in Piano's face. Oh, he might.
mean, they're
Maybe he'll
coming.
get a las cannon on the last one. Once he sees this blood crusher.
I don't know, I think he should stick to his meme. He's going for 3 of a kind, why stop now?
Last one's getting a las cannon.
No fun.
Yeah, there's a part of me that would have liked the triple heavy bolter as well. All right, Piano can't do anything about this at the moment. Like literally nothing. I mean, it's at literally the most damage against the Raptors and the Bloodletters. Raptors did do a little bit of damage, but they can't pursue. Meanwhile, Las Cannon Rhino is looking for the Blood Crusher. Does have it down to about half its health. Takes another shot. He's gonna. Yeah, the Blood Crusher is done.
Yeah, I can't see a path out of here. Yeah, that last cannon Rhino is very powerful to say the least.
Yeah. Eventually, I think we just need to see from Piano here, because if I look at his resources, he can get a Plague Marine Squad or a Las Cannon Habit. He can get one of those, but then it's like, what does he do about that? Because even if he starts targeting one of these Rhinos, another one of them can just flank around and just put the damage onto either one. And then he just needs something like the Empressor Assassin or a Strike Squad to tie up the one squad that could threaten these Rhinos.
Right.
So I think at this point, I think this is game 4 in favor of BestNoob.
Nice knockback over here on the strikes, at least. Taking out a couple of models, but the Rhinos are just raining the map right now. There's not really anything that can answer them.
And we're going to see Piano attempt to get a Plague Marine Squad and see what he can make happen with that. So he chose that over the Cabin. The disadvantage to getting this over the Cabin is that the DPS is quite a bit lower. So it's actually not even that hard to just repair through the damage of the Plague Marine Squad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess since he lost his power farm, he couldn't go in for something like a Scene Strat or some hard anti-vehicle along those lines. That's really what I would expect to see. I guess he's just giving up the strikes. Oh no! He was just playing a game of chicken. Oh. So strike squads are fine, but now it's Rhinos that he's setting the problem. I didn't realize the Rhinos got smoke grenades. Oh man.
This age shall not
All
be
right,
soon
and it's
forgotten.
2-2. We're going to game number 5. Well, you know, he did say that he picked, he wanted to pick Fortuna for the memes. I think he might be regretting that statement now, because he definitely got memed. Piano versus BestNoob. Before anything happens, who's winning? You call it now, Cortella. Who do you think's got this one?
I mean, it's hard. It's such a hard call because we're literally dealing with, like, we don't even know what heroes they're gonna get. But if I had to bet money, I would go with BestNoob. I think he's slightly the more try-hard player and also the slightly better player.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. He claims he's playing for memes right now. He got the Lictor Alpha on the red side, the south side of the map. On the north,
I feel like the Lictor Alpha also such a try-hard hero.
The Chaos Sorcerer for Piano. This is it. Whoever wins this one's taking the title of this Friday Night Fights.
So it doesn't seem like he's... I can't tell what he's not happy with, the hero or the map. But, I also don't know what this Jenny thing is about. But, so Sorcerer obviously can definitely nuke down a bunch of Tyranid squads. But definitely a big thing that I'm worried about is the Sorcerer getting flesh hooked by the Lictor Alpha and getting wiped once he's swarmed on by, 2-3 Hormigaunt squads.
Yeah, so BestNoob going for the triple Hormigaunt while he claims he's meming. Like, this is kind of halfway a meme build because it can also just be really good. Triple Hormigaunts with the Lictor Alpha can wipe squads, wipe units, bash power, take map control. It's not to be trifled with.
Yeah, it's very cheap too. So it won't be too hard for him to put down some generators down soon as well, or activate these power nodes.
Oh man, those Doom Bolts ripping apart those Hormigauns. That's an easy retreat.
But Doom
Both
Bolts
heroes forcing off a squad.
Yeah, Doom Bolts is not to be underestimated.
Right. Oh, did I forget to not kick someone out of the match? Oh well, it's fine.
We have some Swarm Mines coming in too, looking for heretics. Looking to see how much damage they can do to the heretics, who also can't really focus them down.
Even if they don't do damage, they're still stalling them from capping the map, right? They can't really do anything right now. They just have to fall back lest they get in trouble.
Piano also types too much, so that's also another thing why, like, if I have to bet money, I'm gonna go in favor of BestNoob.
Yeah, he spent all that time typing. He's gonna lose himself a Chaos Space Marine model over here.
Yeah, it's already looking kind of rough. I mean, we have a double cap for Piano, but it looks like a squad has already been lost, I think. Unless he never got a second Heretic squad. But BestNoob putting on so much pressure with the Lictor Alpha as well as the Hormigauns. He already took down a generator and forced off the Chaos Space Marines. And he's going to continue to work on this generator. No, he's going to move out now.
Yeah, I don't think he got a third early squad because he popped both nodes and 2 generators right out of the gate.
Might be right.
So he was going for like a fast tech build here, but Lictor Alpha and Hormagaunts are exactly the kind of thing that can punish that.
Ooh, alright, Warriors already out.
Your forces obey you.
Am I casting the tournament tomorrow, Red? I might cast for a bit, but it's also a holiday around here, so I might be hanging out with some people later in the evening. We'll see how late I can stick around.
The enemy seeks to destroy one of your generators. Your units fulfill your command.
Alright, so Sorcerer actually capturing the natural victory point for actually capturing BestNoob's natural victory point. Now he's just gonna straight up retreat out.
It's a fair option there.
This is looking extremely questionable for Piano now.
I don't know what Piano's... He said he's trying to meme, so...
Yeah. Oh, I think he's actually trying to go to tier 2.
I think he is. Oh, but he loses the Heretic squad. You gotta at least rebuy the Heretics. You're not gonna be able to defend your power.
Yeah, this is going a little, like... He's like going full meme now or something, to the point where, sadly, I think it's gonna end up not even being very entertaining.
Oh my gosh, he just ate a Chaos Marine model to charge up his Sorcerer.
Oh, wow, I missed that. Oh. Yeah, especially now, because BestNoob, it doesn't look like BestNoob is memeing at all. This looks like pretty standard and pretty tryhard out of BestNoob.
I mean, he's got the whole map except for this power. The Hormagaunts fall back. Warriors are on the field. There's 3 squads to 1 right now. How much does a Blood Crusher cost? 60?
I think 60 power, yeah. Although our chat's actually saying that he wants bloodletters. And I have heard, aside from the possible meme strat of 3 bloodletters, which is what Oceans is saying. I think someone more serious, Torpid, has often said like bloodletters are strong against, particularly strong against Tyranids in tier 2. Lictor, is he gonna finish off that Chaos Space Marine?
Yep.
He does.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Flash
we
hit
got
on
to game
retreat.
5, but it doesn't look like we're getting much further.
Yeah.
Our power node is in jeopardy.
I mean, of course, we got our chat saying bloodletters, but you know, I think Piano can put 1 squad of bloodletters out. I think he can do 1, and I think it'll be a pretty long time
Can we
before he gets
redo?
another.
It's BestNoob's call. I mean, we're playing random. You guys agreed to random.
Yeah, personally, I'm kind of vetoing that one from Piano. Like he was the one who started the random thing.
Yeah, I mean, if
So,
you're gonna play random, you can't complain when you get a hero you
Yeah.
don't want to play.
I mean, he said in the chat, he said we can play all heroes.
That's true. He did claim that.
Yeah.
The enemy attacks one of your structures.
But you know, at this point in the game's life, even if you've been playing it for like thousands of hours over this past decade, there's still 21 heroes in this game.
Right.
And I don't think there are going to be many people, although we definitely got a lot of role players who can play many of them well. I don't know if we were going to have people who can play all 21 equally well.
Fight harder.
Yeah, I think you can have good game sense and play them well enough, but you will get to points where your skill's not going to be as high, and you're just not going to be as familiar with certain situations with certain tools at your disposal. So much of this
Yeah.
game is about tactics and reacting to squad builds and abilities and all this different stuff.
And I mean, there's also just the idea of like you can have knowledge about a game, you can have like good overall fundamentals, but then like there's just something about the experience of like whatever you specialize with, where when you're in the heat of the moment and the pressure's on, there are things you're just going to instinctively do right with a hero, with the heroes that you're most comfortable with, that you will probably get wrong with heroes that you're not as comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables in this game at all different times. There's so many different ways engagements can go, and little differences in how you use your abilities or positions, engagements, all that kind of stuff matters so much. And like you said, if you're not reacting in that exact moment with what you know works, it might just cost you the engagement in the game.
So we do actually have the bloodletters out. This is like the first time in like past 2 minutes that I'm actually paying attention to what's actually happening in the game itself. Had to buy Heretics as well to support the bloodletters, and also because he has the rec income but not the power income. So a lot rests on how much these bloodletters can do, and they're already losing a lot of health. They're not even sure if they're in range of the Heretic Worship. Heretic Worship actually has fairly long range, but it's not quite working out yet.
Node is in jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he hadn't lost his tier 1 squads, he might be able to do something here. But as it stands right now, I mean, this is just a no contest situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much more of a game this is. It was just, as we saw Piano actually buy new squads, I wanted to see if we're going to see something happen here. BestNoob not even really focusing on getting to tier 3 or even getting new units. He's mostly doing upgrades. He's about to have a fully upgraded Lictor Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, when he already has so much of an army advantage, why not?
And he's going for the Lone Hunter. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Oh, it's such a fun word here for 1v1. It kind of just changes how you even use your hero, right? Like, at this point, it's like, okay, well, now he's just going to fight entirely on his own. And it's a fairly significant buff. Just highlighting.
He'll
the
lose
toolkit.
this engagement, though.
Sometimes
wow.
all it takes is a little bit of fire.
But now that, but the thing is, he retreats his army, but then leaves the Lictor Alpha in.
Well, now he's the lone hunter.
value.
Look at how much damage he's doing. He's chunking off so much health. He does 50% more damage. That's a
He's
huge
literally
buff.
like just beating everything. Hey, he should. Oh no, he doesn't have the energy for a flash out. But still, that was ridiculous. 50% more damage is actually a bonkers
Oh my
statistic.
god. Oh my god.
You know, in the end, I think the meme ended up being the lone hunters. The lone hunter. Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, there it is, guys. Lone Hunter, tell your friends. Oh my goodness, that was
It was worth it in the end for the Lone Hunter Lictor Alpha.
I mean, the memes came. That was the Lictor. Oh my goodness. What a win. BestNoob takes it 3-2 in the final match. The final game of our second match for Friday Night Fights. Oh man, that was a good time. Those were good games. I hope Piano had a good time. I'm sorry he had to play a hero that he didn't want to play. Maybe we can select a random. We can maybe set up like a random pool. Maybe next week. I mean, assuming people sign up before the day of, because if people do that, we can situate all sorts of different stuff. But like, we could even have them pick an assortment of 10 heroes and put them in a randomizer, and we'll pick for them. Or we can have the Twitch chat vote for them.
Ooh, there we go. Even spicier.
That way,
Bruce.
we can have the effect of random, but we're not, like you said, there's 21 heroes in this game. It's not insignificant. And then we can get the matchups that Twitch wants to see, maybe. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff we can do.
Just to respond to Bruce there, I don't know what you're talking about, Bruce. I think the Lictor Alpha is like one of the try hardest of try hard heroes in 1v1 games.